Nice.
We cut over to some
What? Oh, snap. Woo! It's a party. Yeah. What's up, true believers? I'm honored to be another part of News to Astonish's awesome live stream. Going to be talking about some pretty dope stuff. And of course, definitely go subscribe to him because he gives you the best superhero related news you could possibly imagine. And I'm just here to enjoy the ride. Thank you for having me, dude. I'm honored. Oh boy. Oh, oh boy. Starting off hot, bro. Listen, y'all. Okay, let me just say,
Oh, my
we
audio
want the game
my
to be
audio
good.
wasn't working. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Let me do everything.
That's
Guys,
fine.
welcome.
It gives me a moment to process all the feelings I have going on right now. It's okay. These
Yeah.
things happen.
My audio was working. Thank you guys to the chat for letting me know the audio was working. Let me reintroduce. Okay, this is Evan. Yes, it's on now. This is Evan Filarca on the stream. Welcome everybody. Yada yada yada. Let's
Yes.
get that out of the way. And
That's
thank you
okay.
for letting
Plus,
me
we're
know.
still waiting for people to join in.
Yes,
How many more people
we
need.
are definitely. I guess Evan, you said you're gonna share this now. Might as well.
Yeah,
Let's get.
I'm gonna try and share it on Twitter because
We
we're
can
just
talk.
having fun. Just a little Friday fun stream. Nothing to worry about. Just having fun. But in the meantime, just we want it to be good. My voice
Yeah.
is cracking because I've been talking to Ronnie about this earlier, but we want this game to be good.
Yeah.
Avengers. We
Definitely.
waited ever since 2017 to actually see the game in action.
Definitely.
We then got a trailer of it, a trailer, not a demo, but a trailer 3 last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got even more of the same trailer throughout Comic Con and even furthermore throughout the past months of A Day.
Mm-hmm.
And then recently, the game got delayed, which I wasn't surprised about.
No
Because
surprise.
Jack predicted that it was going to happen months ago before they officially announced it themselves. But it happened, and it got delayed from May 15th of 2020 to September 4th of 2020.
Definitely. Oh, just to
And
address the question to the meme guy,
oh yes,
we're going to be addressing every topic accordingly. So obviously we'll
yes.
get to Venom 2. So let's hang off on that. But right now let's talk about Avengers because that's like the
Sure,
biggest
and I don't want to focus
controversy.
on this as much because I'll be going on like 50 different tangents. So I'll
Yeah.
try to keep it clear and focused. But
Yeah.
basically, what would you think that you would receive after your game got delayed? Well, let's see. If your game got delayed, you would probably want to talk about different aspects that the game will feature, different gameplay elements that could be included to interact with other players. It's going to feature online co-op,
Mm-hmm.
four-player online cooperative co-op,
Exactly.
multiplayer in a game which is live service that you can play for years to come. That's the biggest aspect of it. But instead of showcasing the co-op to people to see for the public, they instead revealed pre-order information about aspects you haven't seen in the game yet. So just think about that for a second. So again, it's this game is the easiest comparison since it's another Marvel property and it's another awesome superhero game. But Spider-Man, when Spider-Man revealed its pre-order information, not only did it reveal the release date alongside of that, so they waited until they had a concrete release date to provide that wasn't going to be delayed, and all the pre-order incentives tailored to that. But then they also revealed costumes that the game will have, because we already have seen what it was going to be in the first place, a fully AAA action-adventure single-player free-roaming Spider-Man game, like we've seen previously. The previous Spider-Man games have mostly been open world, so we knew what to generally expect with Spider-Man PS4.
Yeah.
And then they added on to that with gameplay, combat, with web swinging, story elements, with Peter's narrative being explored, and all this great information that was provided in the months building up to release. And they prioritized the gameplay first, then the alternate skins and all that second. Whereas this, they're prioritizing pre-order incentives and alternate suits and A-Day over the most important aspect of the game that it will feature, with co-op. And we haven't heard a blip of that since.
Well, here's a question for you. Here's a question.
Very concerning.
I got a question for you. Do you think the creators and the developers behind this game are by any means like worried about this game, and in any shape or form? Because based on the marketing we've been seeing, like, we've only gotten like little to no details. We've only seen gameplay. But do you think that the marketing and the developing team behind this game is worried about the game at all? Because it doesn't seem like they're trying. I mean, that's the impression I'm getting. And I know very little about it because I haven't seen much information, purposely, for two reasons. One, I'm not exactly too excited about it, and it's an Avengers game, and I love Avengers stuff. And two, the game just looks a little wonky to me. It doesn't look right for some reason.
No, those are completely valid points, and that's kind of the general consensus from people right now, is that we love these characters, we love Marvel. Spider-Man was a dope game. The Avengers movies are great. The comics are great. So why are the majority of people excited for this Avengers game? Isn't that strange? The majority of people aren't excited for an Avengers game. They're pretty interested to see what happens with it, to see how it turns out, but they're not like beyond hype, or at least the main consensus people that I've seen don't feel that way. Kind of, shocking to say the least. And in terms of Square Enix publishing the game and how much they're putting into it, they have Crystal Dynamics, another studio that Crystal Dynamics made just for this game, Crystal Northwest,
right?
Eidos Montreal, Marvel Games producing / publishing, Square Enix, and Nixie Software, which is helping out with the online stuff.
I had no idea about that. That's ridiculous. That's actually that makes it sound like they're very disorganized. And also, the meme guy brought up a good point about the microtransactions and fanfare. It doesn't fanfare for for the Avengers fans or the game. That has us all worried. We're concerned that there's going to be microtransactions, all the studio backing. It just makes it all a big jumbled mess. So I'm just curious in how the final product is going to turn out to be.
I totally agree, and that's the key problem, is that as someone who, me personally, I'm very interested with the marketing aspect of video games and how they go about promoting their product to general consumers. Most fans aren't really doing research about this game in general. Same thing with general consumers for any movie or TV show out there. They just watch the main material that's being promoted, such as trailers or gameplay videos or interviews, and then they go off that. They don't really, general consumers, I say, for hardcore fans, obviously, we want to know everything. But for the standard consumer, they just take things at face value. But then if you do research and look at some of these interviews, they analyze, the microtransactions are in the game, but they're only for cosmetics. You can obtain gear with no loot boxes or pay-to-win scenarios, but there will be some incentives for people to play if you do buy the deluxe edition and pre-order. So there's all these different aspects. But most people, when they hear the term live service or games as a service, they get very, very cautious, and rightfully so. I mean, your criticisms are valid. Like, you're wondering how it's going to turn out because we don't know the status of what the future elements that the game will feature are going to be. We haven't seen co-op yet. We haven't seen full-on gameplay with the customization and games as a service elements in effect, like the online looter shooter aspect. Right. That's essentially what this game is. But even Square Enix themselves seems afraid to announce that that's exactly what the genre of Marvel's Avengers is going to be, because they know that if the general market were to know that, they wouldn't be as interested as in, say, a fully single-player AAA experience like the Batman Arkham game, like Spider-Man PS4, like any other huge AAA action-adventure game that exists. But they're marketing it as that is what it is, when in reality, there's all these other aspects that they haven't dived into yet that are still concerning and confusing players. Most people don't even know what the game is, which is crazy. They just see the 8-day demo and think, is the whole game like that? And that's the
Exactly.
problem. We
It
don't know.
seems
Is it like a fully
seems
linear
very
experience?
monotone as far as that,
Yeah,
because let me piggyback off of that, because we
go
do
for it.
bring up
Yeah.
Spider-Man PS4. Now, comparing the Avengers development, the marketing and everything to Spider-Man PS4, I can say with the full fact that the Avengers marketing and the way that they've been advertising the game, it lacks heart. Whereas Spider-Man, there's a lot of heart to it. They talk about the story rather than the mechanics, moreover. Yes, they've mentioned the mechanics of that game, but the story is where it's most appealing, and that's what draws consumers and fans, more importantly, over to play games such as Spider-Man, such as Batman Arkham series, you know. And I think that's where they fall, that's where they fall short, is the story. They've only been talking about the gameplay and the mechanics and how it appears to be linear to me, which really caught me off guard. Personally, I would have loved the Avengers in solo campaigns where you can play as each Avenger throughout the whole game and have different perspective from each Avenger, ultimately forming different stories from each Avenger. I would have preferred an Avengers game being a solo game while interacting with other Avengers, but you take turns by playing as each character from the roster. I think that would have been a great idea. So,
And that sounds like what it should have been, right? Like,
yeah.
we heard from the beginning, like, this will be, from the very beginning, 2017, they said this will be an Avengers game you will be able to dive into and play for years to come.
Right.
And already when you hear that, you think of the term live service. You think of the term online looter shooter element by continuously playing it. So obviously grinding gear for new
Yeah.
up.
That's boring.
Like
Who's the main
Destiny
developer
or
behind
Anthem.
the Avengers
We've
game
already
again?
seen those types of games have not done too well in terms of reviews or financial success.
Right.
But the fact that this is Avengers, one of the biggest media centered, groups of heroes properties out there, they probably felt confident that, oh, they'll buy it regardless because it's Avengers. But
Yeah.
in reality, that makes it even more concerning.
Mhm.
Because what if the majority of people, like you said, wanted a fully single player focused Avengers game with just some co-op sprinkled on the side? But in reality, it seems like it's the opposite. I mean, we already saw in the pre-order video, there's nameplates, there's
Mhm.
microtransaction credits, there's
Oh God,
emotes.
no.
So all that stuff already, what does that tell you? Well, single player games don't usually have emotes and nameplates. That's more centered around online connectivity, communicating with other players across multiple servers. And then with the co-op feature, it's going to have banding together and doing things like raid or enemy-based looter shooter type gameplay elements.
That sounds very
And
boring, man. Like honestly,
it
I
sounds
don't want to
very,
grind in an Avengers game. I want a story, a very good. I want
yes,
campaigns, like just single player campaigns. I don't honestly. I think playing a game where you play as multiple characters at the same exact time and switching between them kind of takes me out of it. It's like I don't want to do this. I actually rather do this one by one from different
yeah,
perspectives and actually get different stories out of it. You know, just the way they're going this, it just yeah, sure, it can look good, but who cares if it's not even fun, if it has no replay value? I've played Spider-Man 3 times already, and I love that game,
yes,
you know?
dude,
So I want I want replay value in everything.
absolutely. And that's what it could possibly be exciting, right? Is that,
Right.
oh, well, it's an Avengers game that we can play for years on. Well, that sounds cool. Like, maybe I do want to play with you and other friends of mine
Mm-hmm.
online. We can switch characters, and oh, there's this new upgrade for Captain America that I want to unlock, a new gear piece, which will increase his stats. And oh, they just added in Black Panther and Hawkeye in the roster of characters, so maybe we can include them too.
Right.
But then you lose a whole other set of players who think that they're getting another type of single player experience like the Batman Arkham games or Spider-Man. In reality, they're going to be disappointed when they see it's mainly focused on co-op more than anything else. It's wanting you to be online to play
Exactly.
this game, so that way they get more money.
And I think
And
they're
that's
missing the
why,
point too. These people, these developers, they're missing the point of it. Like they just forgot the complete story aspect of the game, and they just went with, oh, well, here are these features, the thing that you really probably care about. When no, I mean, and it says it from the response, like it is clearly made from the from the fans in the response. I just really want to go real quick and go to the comments section because we were talking about this earlier before the stream. They said the meme guy said some really funny things. He he goes like, let's not forget about the backlash that was received for the game when like original trailer came out. People mostly focus on why Black Widow looked like Lord Farquaad, and you mentioned that yourself.
I told you.
That was hilarious.
That's what people were saying. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Who said that directly? Who said that?
The meme guy said it. You mentioned that exactly. Yeah, definitely. Thank you for your service, meme guy.
Because that is the funniest thing is that you have no idea how important a first impression is for a game like when you see, okay, they revealed a teaser trailer in 2017. Then they promised that we would receive more info in 2018.
Exactly.
And that never happened. And they promised it twice. First from the company themselves, Square Enix, and then directly from the game's creative director, Sean Sky, from Crystal Dynamics. And he said, we'll show it soon in 2018, and it never happened.
Yeah,
and then
it's a
shame.
shame.
Enough to reveal it at E3 last year and say, hey, this game's coming out May 15th, 2020, get hyped. Here's all the A-Day stuff continuously shoved in your face.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it clearly doesn't seem like it's going to come out on that day because you're not willing to talk about anything else other than the game's tutorial mission.
Right.
When there's a whole other aspect you haven't discussed yet, and they still haven't, with co-op, online multiplayer, grinding for gear, collectibles, and the story, by the way, for if you guys who don't know, it's going to be 10 to 12 hours long. That's not that long.
No, it's not.
20 plus hours. The initial game.
A lot of grinding and stuff. Well, not grinding, but like playing missions.
Hours.
Exactly.
Spider-Man at launch was 20 plus hours. With the DLC, is a 30 plus hour long game.
That's perfect.
Longer if you add in the side mission, the collectibles and stuff like that, and races, all the other side content within the game, and a single player experience is over 30 plus hours long.
And that game sold amazingly. Like it sold
amazingly well. It's the highest selling superhero game of all time on one platform, exclusively on the PlayStation 4, in less than a year.
Exactly.
And then Square Enix comes along. If you guys read these interviews too, these are all from public statements from people at Square Enix, by the way. I'm not making this up, I promise. The president of Square Enix himself, Yosuke Matsuda, he said that the Avengers project is going to be one of the best superhero games to ever be made. It's going to outperform Spider-Man PS4 in terms of quality.
Big doubt face right now. Doubt.
Yes. And also that it's going to be a game that players will see as a Game of the Year contender.
What a load of shit.
Game of the Year winner. So he said this all, by the way, before the A-Day gameplay footage went up. So
a little too hopeful,
no? A lot of skepticism in all these statements. This could be great if true. I mean, awesome. If he feels that confident in the product, more power to him. But the problem is they are not communicating to the consumers about what this game is going to entail, and that's a major problem. So far, it has a lot of conservations towards it. A lot of, just a lot of reservations, I should say, towards the full entailment of what it's going to feature, with online co-op, with a very short campaign, with Kamala Khan as the main protagonist, which a lot of people are still
I'm not psyched about that.
And
just call it Kamala Khan and the Avengers.
Exactly, and that's another. How long exactly are we going to have to wait for this new content and new regions for free? Yeah. Is it like a new character and a new map per month, 2 months, 3 months, a week? We don't know. There's a lot of questions here, and that is very concerning. It would be more concerning if the game was coming out in May. But now that they delayed it, hopefully that means that they understand the problems that they are currently facing, and they hope to rectify them in the future months going forward. We'll probably get a Game Informer coverage, like a month of coverage, like Spider-Man, also the Batman games. They're probably most definitely now going to be at E3 and Comic-Con again to change, what they did the first time and hopefully do something better the next showcase. And now it's coming out in fall, so now there's a lot of gap time to promote the game in different ways to different people, to the public. Hopefully no more of these behind closed doors demos that they did throughout 2019, which was a very negative reaction from general people who weren't able to attend these conventions.
And what if they delay it again?
Hopefully it works out. I want to have faith in this game. I want to be excited for it, but everything that they've shown so far hasn't done it. And I'm still very much interested within Marvel games because they're really great people. But this game is just very, very concerning. And I just hope it can turn out for the best. But seeing how other games have featured in the past, like Destiny and Anthem, it may not be a good scenario. It may, in fact, be a cautionary tale, what we called it earlier, of how this game will turn out. But we'll just cross our fingers, I guess. But
I was actually truly hyped for this game when I first saw the very first trailer to it, and then it was quiet for a while where we didn't see a thing. And then I saw that, and I was like, what is this garbage? My God, it doesn't look good. I mean, obviously, I knew it was not the final, video game, or the final, look and footage of the game. And then we saw some new footage a lot later, and it still didn't look so great. Like a few commentators here, they mentioned some great points. Like Brendan said, other companies have laid out blueprints practically for other developers. Like I think who's the one, Square Enix doing Avengers?
Yeah.
Okay, so they other companies, the publishers.
And then Crystal Dynamics.
So like Insomniac and other companies have practically laid out blueprints for like games such as Spider-Man, Uncharted series, and everything, on how to do a game like that. So I think it's a great valid point that he makes there. That was Brendan. Thanks, Brendan.
Nice job, Brendan. Yeah. And because that, if anything, I think because I interviewed another creative director of the game, Noah. It's on my channel if you want to check it out. He's awesome. They themselves are huge fans of the Avengers. I can feel it from the Crystal Dynamics team. It's clearly shown within Marvel games. I'm sure Eidos Montreal is fond of it too. But if anyone is to blame for how the Avengers project might turn out as this live service games as a model that they're creating, it's Square Enix. Because they're the publisher and they usually always do this. They always announce games way too early, and they always try and promote a product which isn't final version of what it is at launch. They've done it with Final Fantasy, they've done it with Hearts, and they're oddly enough not focusing enough on the Avengers as they should be. They're focusing crazily more on Final Fantasy VII, which does look cool, more on the Avengers, the most financially successful property within modern media as of right now.
Oh man, Spidey Ski Art Boy. Yeah, he said, you know him, Spidey Ski Skater Boy. Yeah. Okay, he said Avengers is probably going to be better and have more longevity than Marvel's Spider-Man. I don't know about that. I'm taking a face palm, man. You better set your friend straight there, buddy.
Like this, boy. I understand, because the thing is, Josh is very, very wholesome, and he's very optimistic towards the game, which
Josh,
I super, super appreciate. He's my boy.
Josh, can we have you subscribe to this channel too?
We've talked about it in the past. Because there's a lot of potential. Like, him and I would team up as Thor and Iron Man. I see it happening. You and I would team up in a co-op party, 4 co-op action, take on AIM, do raids together on missions, get gear, grind together, new heroes added frequently. That sounds great on paper, but the execution is what matters. Will that live service games as a service model still hold up with the amount of quality that a single-player AAA game could have? Because remember, Insomniac only had to focus on Spider-Man. Insomniac only had to focus on one character to fully polish, develop, fresh out. Avengers has to focus on everyone. They focus on the 6 core team, followed with new characters added frequently for free for years to come, as they say, added with new regions to explore, which add on to the characters' narratives, storylines, and power assets when gameplay occurs.
Well, you mentioned you mentioned that you interviewed some of the people behind this Avengers game, right? But again, I don't mean to come back full circle, but like it doesn't really feel like the passion is there, even though they claim to be passionate. The passion.
No, I feel the same way.
The passion is realized really well with, like, for example, Brian Hinterhar and his creative team in Insomniac when they created Spider-Man. It doesn't show that it's being reflected in the Avengers game, so I don't know how it is that they can make such a bold statement like that. when it's not shown, and the marketing has been quite repetitive. And also, Spidey Skater Boy. I keep saying his name wrong. He wants to hop on. I mean, I would, but like we don't want to go through like trying to connect you here because it's gonna be a mess. But Spider, it was hard. Yeah. Spidey Skater Boy, thanks for subscribing. By the way, I got your subscription, so thank you, thank you so much. Josh
is a saint. Josh.
I'll call you Josh. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree because it's so hard to see that because again, that falls on Square Enix priorities where the event project right now has mainly been tell show, where they're saying that they like the characters, they're saying that they are going to make this game a definitive Avengers gaming experience. But they haven't shown that in its entirety. We've only seen the beginning mission and heavy showcase of Kamala Khan and pre-ordering. And that doesn't really do a whole lot concerning how much features supposedly on a long scale.
Hey, Matthew.
And yeah, interviewing them one-on-one was like, yeah, like they clearly care. At least Noah, who I talked to, clearly is caring about it. But they haven't done enough to fully, advocate that to the consumers, the player base, the fans that are going to be buying this game on day one purely because it's Avengers.
So since Square Enix is publishing this game and Crystal Dynamics is responsible for the story, do you know how much the extent of the creative control that Crystal Dynamics has about the story? Perhaps maybe they're doing this because they're being told to do it, and maybe they're not enjoying it. I don't know.
No, you're totally right, and that's where the confusion comes in, is that Crystal Dynamics are the main developer behind the whole game. The story, the gameplay aspects, and all that. But publisher Square Enix, I believe they're the ones who probably pushed for this live service in order for them to make a bigger profit.
Right.
And milk it for how much it can provide them with a steady cash flow, which I'm not for at all. I'm not digging the whole, suits are locked with microtransaction stuff and all that. The whole live service element's a very questionable thing in certain games, but if done right, it could be fun. But we'll have to wait and see. But Marvel allowed Insomniac Games to have free reign with Spider-Man, so they're doing the same thing with Crystal Dynamics. And like they said online, clearly, creative director Sean Deskai, he pushed, I believe it was him specifically, pushed for Kamala Khan to be the main protagonist of the whole game.
Why?
I don't. Yeah, that's a thing. Which
it's killing me. I don't have a problem with her.
Down like the first ever AAA Avengers game is a Kamala Khan centered story. I don't really agree with that. It'd be fine if she was a character and then they expanded upon her narrative, interacting with the Avengers, but making her the main protagonist of an Avengers game doesn't seem right. Like it seems
felt like it was last minute, though, right? Do you think it was a woke move? Like,
I hope not.
The first Avengers game should have been the main core team, and then sequels later focus on other characters such as Miss Marvel. I don't have a problem with Miss Marvel, but for her to be in the first exact Avengers game, no, come on, man. And it sounded like it was a last minute ditch, like cop out. Like, oh, here we go. We care about other types of race.
Yeah, that's what they promoted online. Like, oh, in our office, Dynamics office, they have framed the first issue of Kamala Khan appearance in a comic, and they have that on the.
She's only recent. She only appeared in comics in like 2015.
And that's what I find weird. They're trying to advocate been with her since day one, when in reality she's a very new character.
Yeah,
so
but she should be slowly
like a certain push
developed.
To that extent, but it depends on how they portray her in the game. So far, I haven't most fond of her appearance with the comics or the animated series she's been in.
Right.
But this game, it's a whole new universe. It's not the MCU, it's not the comics, it's not the shows, it's completely different. And as you know, the Spider-Man PS4 version of the character is my most favorite version of the character that's ever been featured in any form of media other than the comics. And that could possibly be the same thing with this Avengers game. But what I find concerning is that even the actors themselves don't seem that fond of this game. I mean, they
even the voice acting, you mean? Like in terms of that?
Troy Baker went out a while ago. Back
I love Troy Baker, man.
Last year, who's voicing Hulk, Bruce Banner. He's voicing that character.
Yeah.
He said in an interview that this game will not be able to come close to anything that the MCU did. So he's already kind of downplaying what the game could be and lowering people's expectations. which I
Right.
don't really like the way he went about it. He could have worded it differently, but he basically said, "Oh, this will not be anything like the MCU." He could have said that, but no, he said, "Oh, it won't be able to do anything that the MCU accomplished."
That
So
sucks.
why are you saying that when you're clearly one of the leading roles in this game?
I think he's
Like,
passive aggressively telling us to like lower expectations.
it's almost like a warning.
Like,
Seems
hey,
like
listen, don't get like in a nice way because he has to promote it. That's his job. But like,
Yeah.
don't even think that this game for a second is gonna be like grandiose, like amazing, like Spider-Man was. Pun intended, by the way. But by the way, I figured out the Discord situation out of nowhere. It decided to split the screens, and now I have both of us in the stream, which is weird. Anyways, it says here I don't even like how Miles is in Avengers. To be honest, that's Spidey Skater Boy Josh. And I don't know. I mean, I like him as an. I think it's pretty cool. But back to the point where I was mentioning about Kamala Khan being so recent. Don't know why they decided to throw
in
in
the comics, you mean? Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
comics.
like the
Yeah.
whole new
Why push her into the
Avengers,
limelight right away when she could be saved for other for sequels, or maybe a
Right.
post-credit scene, or maybe her being taken under the wing as like other Avengers such as Captain Marvel. It would have made a great story in the games. I'm just that's the way I see it. But again, I'm circling back to like individual storylines. We play as, let's say, Thor or Captain America, whatever, and you play the whole Avengers game. Now you play to the Thor campaign. You get different perspectives. Maybe visit other worlds, visit other parts of the world, visit realms, visit universes, whatever. It would have made an amazing, compelling game. It's like playing the game 6 times over or 5 times, or whatever, how many people in the roster, and you're playing like a different game each time. It sounds very ambitious, but it would really appeal to the masses, honestly. People want a story-driven game. None of this feature crap with microtransactions and all that bullshit, you know?
Right.
So that's just my take. And I have not been very excited about this game at all. So I mean, I came in here kind of blindly. I did watch your recent videos too. But like I kind of figured I'd let you take helm this because I guess you have to endure this crap.
Right. I totally get it. And it's thank you for giving free range rant about it because I've had so much thoughts about it. And
Yeah.
it's so frustrating because they have discussed nothing outside of what we've already known for months now. So it's like, why aren't they diving into more aspects? And that is because I believe that they are clearly trying to downplay the whole live service games as a service element in favor of trying to say, like even in the overview trailer, saw
Right.
that recap video where it showed bits of the gear customization on it. They clearly said, "Oh, this is a third-person action adventure game, first and foremost." But then clearly it's not because there's going to be online co-op and grinding for gear and new characters and regions added for years on. That's not a single-player,
It sounds like they
third-person
took
action
Call
game.
of Duty and Fortnite, mixed it with Marvel,
Yeah.
and EA games, and came out this
When
mash
in
of
reality,
like mess.
Exactly. When
Yeah.
in reality, we kind of just wanted a AAA version of Ultimate Alliance, like on a more
Exactly.
modern version of Ultimate Alliance,
With more of an
newer
open world too.
spectrum,
Yeah.
like single player centric, right, of a campaign, but then have co-op just spliced in as a bonus. That's what Ultimate Alliance specialized in. You could play that game fully single player if you wanted to, but it was more fun as a co-op. So if they did that with Avengers, that would have been way better. But instead,
I'm kind of devastated.
they're trying to go this different route with the games as a service, live service, online looter shooter model to drive players playing for years on. And that's another problem, is that this game is coming out at the worst time.
When is it coming out? I'm sorry, because I forgot.
Yes.
Because I don't care. But when is it coming out?
Is problematic and people are uninterested. So
I lost interest with the delays.
It's a thing, and that's the problem, is that because of that, people have kind of just shoved it under the rug until they show more stuff, and they haven't done that yet. And the game comes out September 4th, but the problem with that is...
That's terrible. Make it a holiday release. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because of next gen. We have the PS5 and the Xbox Series X coming out, supposedly, if the coronavirus doesn't cancel that too or whatever.
Or delay
holiday
it.
20.
Yeah.
Because they just canceled GDC, or they postponed GDC because of the coronavirus, and E3 might be next. But there's all this concern about PS5 and the Xbox Series X taking attention away from Avengers, because it definitely will. And the game, as of what we know right now, it's not releasing on next-gen platforms. It can be backwards compatible on
Right.
next-gen platforms, but it hasn't been confirmed that it's being developed for those consoles. And even Square Enix themselves recently came out and said the same thing, like, well, we're going to focus on our games for this current gen, and then you'll still be able to play them through backwards compatibility, so it's fine.
I gotta say though, Josh, your buddy here, seems like he's for the Avengers game.
I know, trust me.
That guy is like he's testing us right now because he looks like well, objectively, I mean, it's structured if you really look at it like that. Things objectively, okay, I see it, man. No worries, man. I'm not gonna disagree with you. I mean, I am gonna disagree with you, but I'm gonna respect your opinion. That's what counts, because that's what heroes do. Okay, we respect people's opinions. All right, so I have to throw in the Thor meme in there. But yeah, I I really lost interest due to the amount of delays that we've gotten, and now with like the this C virus, I'm only concerned even more, and I'll probably forget about it. I haven't even pre-ordered it. Is it even available to pre-order? Like,
yes, yeah, they had that. That's the problem, is that they prioritize pre-order information over the actual game itself. Instead of informing people about co-op or another level in player, they said, "Hey, here's our game for pre-order, and here buy our collector, which is $200, too pricey for me, and all these different editions for the game that you can acquire through pre-order." And that is a very odd choice, in my opinion. I wouldn't have gone about it that way. Instead, I would have, like they said, another false promise. They promised us co-op early 2020. Now, granted, that was before the game got delayed, but I still think they should have shown that first before diving into the pre-order.
Yeah.
That could have come later.
Exactly.
And now on their Twitter page, on their social media pages, they're promoting skin. Guess what? Over everything else. So, I don't
speaking
really agree
of
with the way that they're going about promoting the game as of right now.
Speaking of pre-orders,
later on, closer to release, but now it's kind of.
It's kind of like, I think it's already dead. Speaking of pre-orders and delays, Brandon mentioned, listen, in any industry, delays equal forgetfulness, and I disagree, and I'll tell you why. Games such as Final Fantasy Remake, Last of Us Part 2 have been delayed, and nobody forgot about those games because we are actually excited for it, because compared to the Avengers, those games are heavily story-driven, and the stuff that we've seen sounds like it's pitching us a story. Like, it's not pitching us features, microtransactions, and those games actually look good. And you can tell from the developers interview, the creators, that they're so passionately involved. Like, they really care about this material. Whereas Avengers, it's kind of been loose in the back end. Everybody has forgotten about it. I forgot about the release date because I didn't even know what the release date was, because I lost interest. And it's Avengers, one of my favorite properties in the world. So delays don't actually mean forgetfulness. And honestly, I'd rather for a game to be delayed, so that way when we get the final product, it's actually a better game. Whereas we get a rushed out product, that's what I care about. So I haven't forgotten about the games that are being delayed. So I kind of disagree with you, Brendan. It really depends on the circumstances. So I'm just saying, right? I'm just putting it out there.
Totally agree. I mean, yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. If the game was presented in a way that conveyed emotion to the consumer, there wouldn't be any loss of hype. In fact, there would be more hype. Like, well, great, the Avengers game got delayed, so now it'll be even better, and I can't wait for September 4th. Now it's like, oh, well, the game got delayed. Who cares anymore?
Right.
I'm out.
Yeah, and also, Mean Guy
really
says, but if
story.
it's delayed, remind the people it exists. Of course. These developers who have delayed these other games, like I mentioned, like Final Fantasy VII Remake and Last of Us Part 2 and all this stuff, they've actually reminded that they're still working on it. We've gotten reminders on social media feeds like Twitter. We've gotten reminders such as videos. We know about it. We're anticipating it, and we just cannot wait anymore. That's the hype that they're creating, is communication with the fans. So that's the mass. They're communicating with the masses. What else? Somebody said something else here. He says, the Mean Guy said, I can forgive it being postponed if it turns out good. Hell, Shigeru Miyamoto always follows this by saying a delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed out game is forever bad. I hope it's the former. So I hope all this time that the Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix has taken to finish out this Avengers game, I hope the final product turns out to be good. So far, I'm not liking what I'm seeing, but maybe they should start showing us what we'd like to see, And I think that's what they're doing right now, which is why we have to wait a little longer for the release of the game. So I mean, that's my
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope so.
Because we want to be excited, not just you and me, but everyone else watching, everyone else out there.
Yeah, all the Marvel fans want to be excited about it.
Of course. Like,
I love
it's a freaking
Spider-Man.
Avengers game. How could you not be excited? But the problem is they're going about it all wrong and how they're promoting it and not conveying as much passion as they totally can easily do and should be doing over everything else. And, you know, once we get closer, I hope it starts to build up more hype and they kind of switch gears from the A-Day stuff to something different. But yeah, I'm just kind of worried it'll be a repetitive, generic online looter shooter of a fully perfected Avengers. But I hope I'm wrong, and I'm just crossing my fingers for the best possible.
I'm kind of scared. Hey, Mom. My mom is on the stream, too. She likes to watch my videos. Hi, Mom. But anyways, I'm kind of scared for this because I don't want to be disappointed. That's why I'm afraid. And to take a property like this that I like, that I hold dear to my heart, and you know, I have comics and stuff, I don't want to see it get bastardized. Like, I don't want to be disappointed. I don't want to be in the store regretfully handing over $60 to buy this. Like, I don't, because the moment I see microtransactions and all that other crap that I don't really care about and don't like, I'm returning it, man. I swear. Okay, let's take some questions.
Because you don't want to keep, you know, pouring in money to a product you don't like.
Yeah.
And that's why they have to scale the launch of the game on one.
Yeah.
So that way they can incentivize people to continuously pour money into the game, to play more of it, unlock more costumes, grind for more gear, all this stuff. But as of right now, they haven't done. So I really hope
there's some tips that they can learn from other studios, and not just game studios, but movie studios. It's been a recent trend where movie studios and game studios are actually listening to the fan base and their critical reception. For instance, Paramount with the Sonic movie.
Yeah,
it was a good. It started out a trend, and actually it revolutionized critical reception, in my opinion. When you listen to people and you listen to what they want, you're gonna get their full-on support. And look at it, Sonic outdid Birds of Prey. I'm just saying, like, there it is. You want proof? Listen to the people and ask what they want and deliver it. And guess what? They'll have your support. So I think gaming studios should have surveys or ask for, like, you know, feedback. And then if they deliver what we ask for, we have they have our full support. We will gladly spend our money, no matter how broke we are. You know, we will support them. That's how it is. I am behind anybody that listens to our feedback. Sure, take our feedback into consideration, maybe implement some of that, but obviously, ultimately, make it your own game. But still, take it into consideration that we're giving you feedback for a reason, because we want a good product. Anyway, so let's take some questions, because I don't want to, like, you know, ignore everybody here.
Yeah, and then we'll move on to the other topic.
Yeah, definitely. We can talk about, like, Spider-Man, you know, in general, like the MCU and games and stuff like that, the sequel. Anyways,
and Batman news. That's pretty.
The Batman, yeah. Spidey Skater Boy. I think he's kind of a hater boy. Not to sound like I'm writing. He says he tests you all the time, and he respects your opinions as well, bro. So yeah, Josh, keep testing us because, you know, whatever. The meme guy. At least they don't have Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers plastered all over the game, because at that point it would just feel too woke. I mean, I think it's starting to feel kind of woke with already Kamala Khan on it.
Right. I mean,
I just don't like Captain Marvel
anymore. It's just the way they go about it
anymore.
Like, okay, possible spoilers. Well, it is spoilers, so if you don't want to learn about the game, spoilers.
No, it's fine. Just tell me. I already lost. Like, I'm already losing interest.
But I'm sure, for some reason, I get the feeling that everyone that's streaming right now doesn't really care.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
That's okay.
Just again, because
I have an idea.
This way.
Yeah.
I would have been emotionally devastated if someone spoiled Spider-Man PS story for me. But for Avengers, I don't really care.
I'm not caring much. Go ahead, go for it. Go all out, go crazy. Tell me some details.
That's just where I'm at right now in terms of hype and excitement. Like, usually I'd be like, oh, I don't learn anything about the Avengers game, but I learned about it, and I just did it off my own free will. Like, well, I'll just see what the story's like. So, spoilers now. The trophy list was leaked.
Go ahead.
Avengers.
Yeah.
And they reveal plot information about the story in these trophy descriptions. And the very last one, which points out the main villains of the Avengers project, is titled New Girl Does Good.
No,
And it's where Miss Marvel defeats MODOK and the Kree. So MODOK is the main villain because AIM is the main villain. So who's the leader of AIM? MODOK, or possibly another character, like if they had Baron Zemo, or that's Hydra. If they had like other characters tailored to AIM, the main one that comes to mind is MODOK. So he's the main villain supposedly of this game,
right.
And the Kree are going to be possibly a side villain that we fight later on. But the fact that the description of the trophy states New Girl Does Good indicates to me, like they've already said previously, that Kamala Khan is in fact the main protagonist of the entire story and will most likely single-handedly defeat the AIM and Kree together.
I think this is being rushed out, man.
They'll probably support her. They'll probably help her out when the final battle occurs. But if anyone's going to defeat them physically, it's going to be Kamala Khan.
It's rushed out.
And
this is bullshit.
I don't really know how that could go. If done well, could be portrayed in a very interesting way, but it just doesn't. It does seem slightly forced if they go about it the wrong way. And the fact that she's going to take both of them out, I don't know how, but I guess she'll be powerful enough to do so. And this is her origin story, apparently. You know, since she got.
It's an Avengers story, not a freaking Kamala Khan in the Avengers or joins the Avengers.
She gets her powers on A-Day. 5 years later, she's been training, I guess, with her powers. And then she's able to defeat an entire army of Kree invaders and AIM and MODOK. So, and what are the Avengers doing? Sidelines, or are they helping out? Because I have no idea. Just very, very strange.
I'm not liking the way this sounds, man.
No.
I can't sleep tonight. So, anyways,
like you personally, Ronnie, would you consider MODOK a main primary Avengers villain?
He's kind of like a C-list villain at best, in my opinion.
Yeah, like Doc Ock, Triple.
Have Doc Ock.
The main villain of Spider-Man, absolutely, and they kept him a secret.
Mr. You need an Avengers level threat.
Like,
Mr. Negative, yeah. Doc Ock. Hold on, let's see, Galactus.
Well, S-tier group of villains.
Yeah.
Groups of villains, which is why
Kang the Conqueror.
Kang the Conqueror, the Masters of Evil, Baron Zemo,
Sinister Six.
So, you see, they stuck in a Spider-Man core to Peter as a character and the characters that support around him. So with Avengers, obviously they can't do anything with the movies, and I wouldn't want them to do anything from the movies because we've seen enough of that. And I personally do not want Thanos even referenced in this game.
We've already had enough in the movies.
Yeah, I've seen enough of Thanos to last a lifetime. Main villain in the Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame. He was the main villain in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, the fighting game, and he was the main villain in Ultimate Alliance 3.
Right.
I'm good. I didn't want Thanos as the main villain, but I don't understand why they're focusing on this character, MODOK and Kamala Khan, as the core characters featured in this game's story.
Do you think MODOK can be like, not MODOK, excuse me, do you think Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, is like the connective tissue that brings, like, sort of like an inspiration that brings the Avengers together again? Because there is a point in this game, supposedly, where they're tearing apart and they lost everything. Like, they're practically on the run, if that's what I got. But I think Kamala Khan kind of shows up as like this youngster who is kind of like this connective tissue between of all team members.
No, you're.
I'm gonna have a heart attack. I'm gonna piss blood.
No,
like.
And you described exactly what the developers have said.
No.
In interviews, they said
what have
that.
I done?
So
what have I
the
said?
Avengers disassemble, which already sounds very similar to Endgame. 5 years pass after A-Day, and they're disbanded. The government has outlawed superheroes, so all superheroes are now outlawed in this game, and all the Avengers are separate. Tony Stark is, living by himself in that crashed helicarrier with a beard. He lost his technology, so he's not being Iron Man anymore. Captain America's supposedly dead, which obviously he's not, since we can play as him in the game. Black Widow is her own lone wolf spy, doing things by herself, so she's not affiliated with the Avengers or S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore. Thor is quit being Thor. He left Mjolnir at Cap's memorial, and he's now a man amongst the people, whatever that means. And Bruce has gone into hiding, and he's trapped in a Hulk-like state, like Endgame. And there as, I don't know if it's going to be Professor Hulk or just a angry Hulk or whatever, but he's been like that for years. And now Kamala Khan as Marvel, supposedly, like, we don't know the rest other than that, but now this speculation, she's going to bring back the Avengers and reunite them one by one to then build up to fight them, or fight AIM and Kree together. Through Kamala Khan being the sole purpose of bringing and reuniting this entire. So why weren't they the ones, the Avengers, discovering why A-Day happened? It's just like they just gave up. So why didn't they focus? They didn't even try it. So why didn't they go back, figure out who sabotaged A-Day, who blew up the Golden Gate Bridge? Taskmaster obviously wasn't behind it. It was someone else, someone bigger. So who was it? It doesn't sound like they did that, and then they just leave it to Kamala Khan. That's really odd storytelling.
After you told me all that, I am a little saddened. God. I don't like
and
this.
she's the sole purpose to reunite the team together from her.
From
There's
a child?
No one from Nick Fury. You know, Nick Fury didn't step in. No one from S.H.I.E.L.D. is trying to save the
No
Avengers.
Maria Hill, no Nick Fury, no other team, no West Coast Avengers, nothing.
We've seen Nick Fury in the prequel comics, because there are prequel comics tailored to the game. We've seen him in that, and then Maria Hill is talking to Tony Stark on the intercom during the A-Day demo. So none of them decided to go and figure out what the problem was themselves. They didn't decide to step into the government and say, hey, don't outlaw these guys. They were trying to save the day. Or, do some S.H.I.E.L.D. work to keep it on the down low.
Yeah.
I guess not. So I don't understand why they're doing what they're doing.
Let's take some questions real quick from the chat. There's one for you, Evan.
And again, it all depends on how they execute. So we haven't seen it yet. They're confirmed, though. These trophies are official from websites that list exactly what happened in the story. So these are confirmed.
Now I need to find out for myself. Yeah. But anyways,
they are confirmed, and we just have to see how it plays out. But the general consensus is that yes, the Avengers disband, then they reassemble thanks to Kamala Khan, who then proceeds to take out AIM and the Kree.
It all sounds too familiar, definitely, by the way, because it's Endgame all over again. I don't want to see that again. But Brendan asks, hey, here's your question, Evan. When did you begin your YouTube career, and what got you to begin your career covering the hero comic industry?
It's all thanks to this beautiful boy right here.
Yeah, I remember you were blowing up in that scene, by the way. I remember watching you at like 5,000, 8,000 subscribers. I remember you from the beginning. And I was like, this kid is blowing up. And it's all thanks to the dishing out of the Spider-Man news. I'm like, this guy, he's good, man.
Honored, sir.
I was there to watch you at E3 when you met Brian Intar, and he saw you in the audience, and he acknowledged you. He's like, Evan, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool.
And then Bill
this kid grew.
Like, I like that shirt. And like Spidey Squad.
Yo, this kid grew, and I'm like, this kid's going places, and I'm like, oh my god, he's meeting developers.
When they did that,
oh
like,
man.
You guys look it up online. Josh on that, the E3 interview where they had Bill Rose, Brian Intar, and everyone on stage, and they like, oh, we're gonna ask Evan, we're gonna have Evan ask a question. For sure. And Evan, like, right on stage in live video camera footage. Couldn't do it, but it was amazing. And yeah, like, to answer your question, it's because for a while I wanted to do YouTube in general. I thought maybe I could talk about, because in high school I was actually focusing on the college curriculum.
Yeah, you're welcome,
about how
Brendan.
all those aspects handle with educational fees and like, tuition and scholarships. I could educate students about how to become better students, how they could progress with their educational careers. And then in 2016, they announced Spider-Man on PS4, and I flipped out. I'm like, nope, this is what I'm focusing on right now, because I love Spider-Man to death. Video games, I believe, are the most immersive and most progressive format of media in the world. Like, more than movies, more than comics, more than TV shows, it's video games. And, now that next gen is happening, I'm so excited for that. But basically, it can go so far. And the fact that you again, it sounds cheesy, but you feel like you are the character that you're playing as. You are Spider-Man. You can be
perfectly understandable. Everybody's Spider-Man.
And that's why it's so exciting. And the fact that they acknowledge that passion to the fan, Insomniac did directly by featuring the Spidey Squad in the game, and acknowledging how much care and passion they clearly have for the character of Spider-Man is insane.
Right.
And you know, I didn't have any editing programs or a laptop to work on at all in 2016, but I just worked on videos recording through my phone. Josh knows this, and I was just focusing on that for a year, and then I decided to focus my studies on learning how to edit things by myself. I learned video editing and software programming by myself, and just took a while. But once you find something you're truly passionate about and you know it, then you go for it, and that's what I did. And that's because all thanks to Insomniac Games and Marvel Games, Spider-Man PS4 changing my life in more ways than one, and amazing people like Josh and you, Ronnie, just inspiring me every day, and just being able to interact with people like you is what makes it all worthwhile.
Thanks, man. And I hope I can build some sort of camaraderie, because that's actually the beauty about having a community that's behind you and behind this fandom. You know, that's the best part. You know, having a group of people, individuals like ourselves, to talk to. And I really hope that I can gain a following as well, because I want to be able to meet people like that. You know, I want to be able to go to conventions, meet people that follow me, and I want to get to know them personally. And I wish I can get to know them all, honestly, but it's nearly impossible. It's pretty much almost impossible. But I really want to build that, you know, for myself. I've always wanted to do YouTube at some point. I created my YouTube channel in 2009, but I didn't do anything serious until late 2016.
Same, I did 2013.
Yeah.
I didn't touch it till 2016.
2016, yeah. That's when I started getting serious. I'm glad I am where I am, but I only had hope that I thought I would have more, but at this day and age, it's actually hard to grow in YouTube. It's hard to gain subscribers, because I've had moments where I've gotten like stagnant in my subscription, my growth. But I didn't let that deter me, because I know it can get better with time. It takes time. You know, it takes time to grow. If you want to create a YouTube channel, for those of you in the chat, never put yourself down. You can do it. It's going to take time. Yeah, it sucks, but trust me, the payoff will be great in the very end once you grow. So I feel the growth as of recent, ever since I've been live streaming, I actually gained some more followings. So I feel it, and I feel like I have a community of my own that I'm proud to call my community. So yeah, let's get back to more. Looks like Spidey, your buddy Josh, is testing us some more. The Endgame comparisons are more so a coincidence than anything. They started working on this game years before Endgame even started shooting. Hell, Bruce stuck as Hulk has been done before. All right, thanks, Josh. And then Brandon, thanks for taking my question. You're very welcome.
Josh, I totally understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I just hope that they don't completely copy off of the stories we've already seen in the movies and just, again, focus solely from the comics like they're claiming it will, but I don't know so far, because they say that they're trying to be original, but then Bruce Banner looks exactly like Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
They're clearly trying to make...
They're not allowed to take the likeness of those people, by the way. They're not allowed to take the likeness of those actors.
So it's like, I don't know. And again, like, it all depends on how the narrative is portrayed. I could care less about the character design now, because I'm not fond of it regardless. But
yeah, Farquaad, Lord Black Widow Farquaad.
Is that we hope that the narrative can be portrayed in a way that fully embraces what makes the Avengers so special.
Yeah.
And I want it to be different from the movies. I don't want them to even come close to
exactly. Don't replicate the movie. Hey, Dead Rip, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining, man.
Lejeune is also here. Another great channel for Avengers info, guys.
Lejeune?
You want to learn more about it? Get up to our boy Lejeune.
He says we're in the Great Depression from Marvel's Avengers news. Yeah, I'm a little saddened after what Evan dished out to me right now. I feel like I got hit with a diaper, like, full of shit. Like, honestly, I'm a little. I just made that up, by the way. I had to come up with something that sounds very depressing and just disgusting.
I can feel that metaphor.
Like a diaper of shitty news just hit my face, and now I'm just like, I feel shitty.
Lofting.
Yeah, lofting. Just here, take this right in the face. The meme guy. Here's a good question, and this is something that a lot of fans have been speculating. Are Spider-Man and the Avengers even in the same universe? If so, what the timeline is, and how does it affect Spider-Man? I want to believe it, but it's not the case. That's wishful thinking. So
yeah, and now it's more of a pipe. They did finally reveal PlayStation 4 benefits, that they teased all the way back in E3 last year. They said, well, we got some cool exclusive PlayStation benefits, such as an online beta that you can get early and other stuff to be revealed in the future. It's like, oh, are they talking about Spider-Man? Because that's clearly a PlayStation exclusive. And no, it was emote. Yay! It was an emote, and it was microtransaction credits and cost. Great. So that was definitely not what we were expecting, at least what I wasn't expecting. And what the theory is, which would be solid and would make so much sense if they actually did it, is that Taskmaster's in, but he was also in Spider-Man. But then A-Day takes place in 2015. If you didn't know that, because at E3, I was actually there in person. They had the screen that showcased the A-Day footage, and here's the helicarrier and all this. Here's the profiles of the Avengers. And they actually, to kind of fit within the universe, pointed out when the game takes place, because after A-Day, it's then 5 years later, and then the Avengers are trying to be reassembled by Kamala Khan. So that portion of the game takes place in 2020.
Yeah.
Where Kamala Khan has her powers.
So it starts off in 2015.
Yes.
Okay.
And Spider-Man took place in 2018. Which means, since Taskmaster said in Spider-Man he's fought the Avengers in the past, and then Spider-Man also referenced them on the West Coast, it could have made sense if it connected to the game's story. And that would be the same Taskmaster from both games. It was a younger Taskmaster on A-Day, and then he got older and more experienced during the Spider-Man game, and it would have connected great. But now, really, with PlayStation,
too bad Insomniac is not working with Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah. And again, that probably belittles any chance of being a playable character, or it belittles any chance of the universes combining together. But there could be a chance that Spider-Man, they could make their own version of Spider-Man in this game, and then the advanced suit could be a PlayStation exclusive skin. But that's still something we don't know about. But as of right now, it definitely sounds like there are, in fact, sadly, separate universes. Even though I was fighting from the get-go that I do want them to connect with each other, but I don't know if they are anymore.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's go ahead and move on to like more hopeful stuff, because so far it's been kind of a depressing fest with the Avengers stuff.
This is not a fun.
I wanted to stream because I want to have fun talking about stuff that we love.
We wanted to bring you guys hype. We didn't want to bring you guys down.
Let's talk Spider-Man.
Yes.
PS4, PS5, Spider-Man 2, PS5. So that's what we're going to call it now, guys. I released a Spider-Man video recently titled, I forgot.
Hopes and Dreams of the sequel? I think I saw it.
Marvel Spider-Man 2 Theories and Easter Eggs, Venom, Green Goblin, and the Lizard. That's the one I released. Then there's Sony and Disney executive want to keep Spider-Man in the MCU for good, which I also talked about. And I'm pretty excited for that. But at the same time, I can understand why they would be concerned for that too, because of the direction that they're taking that character. But anyways, let's talk about Spider-Man PS5, because we need to talk about good stuff.
Yes.
Then we can get upset again. And then we can talk about good stuff. Okay,
I have an art piece right here showcasing possibly this sequel, black suit, red suit Spider-Man, because we need that.
Your Spider-Man memorabilia is clearly unparalleled, Mr. Filarca.
Honored.
It is amazing. You've outdone yourself, and you've outdone me. I thought I was a huge Spider-Man nerd and fan, but clearly there's one bigger than me. So, anyways,
we're all part of the same family. Spider-Man fan.
Let's speculate. Let's do this. Spider-Man 2, as we're going to call it. PS5.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The graphic fidelity first, then the story. Because we can talk about the story all we want, and we can speculate all we want.
You guys already know me. I think the first game's a masterpiece.
Of course.
The sequel already has incredible amounts of potential, with the gameplay mechanics being greatly expanded upon.
Oh yeah.
Traversal being even more variety, with West
Brooklyn.
Wing, open world, new expansion of maps.
Yes.
Of course, more districts, more areas, and not actual regions to explore. Not free roaming, because Avengers isn't free roam. It's linear open world.
It appears to be linear, kind of like Last of Us, but not really.
And Spider-Man PS4 is not that. It's fully free roam, and of course, if they were to make a sequel, they would have to expand the overall map with Manhattan, as well as Brooklyn and Queens and the other sections of New York, which would be amazing. Black suit, greatness, more villains, Venom, possibly Carnage, Green Goblin. Yes. And again, bring back Yuri Lowenthal and the other cast members because they did a phenomenal job. And it's just gonna be a masterpiece.
You know, I had a theory about Venom in my video for Spider-Man 2. How we're expecting his appearance. Here's my theory, and to keep it simple, I don't think Venom is going to be the main antagonist of the game, and I can tell you why.
Ooh.
Here's why. Okay. I think Green Goblin is. The reason why I believe Venom is going to be kind of like a side antagonist slash anti-hero towards the end is, do you remember how in the post-credit scene where Harry Osborn supposedly has the symbiote suit?
Yes, sir.
Knowing Insomniac, how they created their own version of a Spider-Man suit, Insomniac might create their own version of a symbiote spawn based on Harry Osborn. And we will not see the Venom manifestation until it makes contact with actual Eddie Brock, because Eddie Brock has hate towards Spider-Man / Peter Parker. And of course, one of the reasons why the symbiote attached to Eddie Brock is because it was attracted to his physique and his hatred towards Spider-Man, because the symbiote felt like he was betrayed by Spider-Man once Spider-Man got rid of him. So that's where my speculation comes in, where we're going to get a new Spawn exclusive created, symbiote from Insomniac, whereas we will probably start to see it canonized in the comics, just like they did for the first game where they made comics for it. We might see that, because ultimately this is another universe of Spider-Man, a different Earth. So that's my theory.
Have like a number for it, I think Earth 1048.
Yeah. But as to how the symbiote makes contact with Eddie Brock, I think the symbiote will make contact with Peter Parker Spider-Man first, because we can say that Harry Osborn gives Peter a call saying, "Hey, I'm all better." Peter Parker pays a visit. The piece of the symbiote latches onto Spider-Man. And let's say Spider-Man's in mid-swing going on to the next crime. It starts to manifest the black suit, and he gets all confused. He goes to go somewhere quiet to investigate and to take a look. We get introduced to Kirk Connors. We get a lizard side mission, and then we get Eddie Brock taking pictures of Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man catches Eddie Brock and webs him up and whatnot, and then a piece of the symbiote falls on him, creates Venom, and then we learn that there's something more sinister, and we get Green Goblin, because we were left with there's Green Goblin Easter eggs in Spider-Man 1 with the helmets where you play as Mary Jane. I think Green Goblin's going to be the main antagonist.
I think your theory sounds flawless. It sounds
Thanks, man. Really good. I took time to think about this, man.
Do you work for Insomniac? I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Find out. But it sounds really good.
They know. They found out.
Potential, and of course, people will want to see more characters, and now that the majority of them are kind of gone in the first game, we got the Sinister Six, we got Doc Ock, he's now in the raft. They could bring him back as a small cameo, but I don't know if they'll bring him back as a main villain, because he was the main villain in the first game.
Yeah, we see him in prison.
What they said, he's in the raft. What they said with Martin Lee, he's missing, MIA, missing in action, so he's not dead, but he's just kind of, wherever. So maybe
he's overseas, out in the east.
Maybe that, and Silver Sable, we kind of got her story wrapped up in the DLC. Same Black Cat, her story was kind of fish. I love to see her come back as a character, but that's just me. But again, yes, all that stuff with Norman Osborn is clearly going to return to the Green Goblin. More so, I think, or at least I hope, given that we saw the helmet, the more canonized 616 Green Goblin instead of the Ultimate version where it's just a green monster. I'm not too fond of that version that much. But
I like a 616 design of the Green Goblin. Of course, it's going to be designed by Insomniac, but obviously some referencing to the comics. But I would love a new entire shredded, nasty suit of the Green Goblin. I want to see that.
Seeing what they did with the classic villains already, where they rejuvenated.
They still look familiar.
Yeah, they still have the classic character portrayals that we know and love from the comics, just modernized. But they didn't, take away from what made them unique and different. Yeah. So I think the same thing is with Green Goblin. He'll probably have a more tech look, like Doc Ock and the.
But with a mask still.
But he'll have a mask, lighter, no giant fire, breathe, whatever.
Do you think Green Goblin will have a mechanical mask where it still moves? But it's green. It has lining on the face. That'd be something really cool.
I would think so, because that way they would have more of the actor, personality.
It'll be a helmet to protect his face.
Yeah, because William Salyers, who played Doc Ock, was Doc Ock. Was the mocap and
He's the
Doc
actor.
Brown.
Yeah, it's him. He looks like
Spider-Man,
that.
it was the mocap actor was John Bubniak, who I interviewed, who's a god. And
Yeah.
Gary Lowenthal was
The
the
voice,
for Peter.
yeah.
So they had two separate individuals for Peter, but they had one individual for Doc Ock and Mr. Negative, and majority of kind of the side cast. But for Norman, it was the same thing. Norman Osborn was played by the same actor and person.
Right,
So,
and he's cool,
I forget
man.
what his
He
name
looks
is,
cool.
but it's like Mark Ralston or something like that. But he was Norman in the first game, and if they brought him back, they'll probably have him mocap again with updated technology to put him, this character as Green Goblin. Harry, I don't remember who voices him. It's blanking on me right now.
Yeah.
But they'll probably have him, like you say, recover from his kind of, floating state, his cryogenic-esque state, the cryogenic state, he's floating in the tank. He's trying to be healed since he is sick. He has this disease that the devil's breath was trying to be the cure for,
right.
And it ended up being this bioweapon essentially by accident. Everything that Norman has done so far has been trying to cure Harry.
Right.
Devil's breath and all this stuff, and now with Black Substance, the symbiote is who's trying to be used as a healing ailment for Harry. But the thing is, with your theory, is that Venom can't be Venom until it reaches Eddie Brock. The symbiote touches Eddie Brock.
Right.
After it goes on Spider-Man, then it is left on Spider-Man. Then the rage that Eddie and the symbiote both have for Peter, because the symbiote is its own alien entity. Then they fuse together and become Venom. I would love to see that, but I think possibly they might go the ultimate route, where the symbiote is this kind of bio-made substance, right?
To cure
this
cancer.
Kind of, yeah, the bio-engineered substance made to heal diseases, because that's what the Devil's Breath was trying to be.
Right.
Now they have this healing ale substance to try and cure Harry, and it's been on him for that long time. It's been on him, if you count the years, the time gap, for almost a year.
Right.
He's been like that for almost a year, because he was in Europe for a while. Peter's been Spider-Man for 8 years, but then it's been like a few months since the story of the game. He's been in that state for almost a year, if not longer, after the DLC. And then who knows if the game might do a time skip or something.
Yeah.
When the sequel comes around, so we don't
this
know.
Game, Spider-Man, has been one of the greatest things in my life, and I cannot wait for it to be a full trilogy, because I know it's going to be a trilogy. But one of the other reasons why I mentioned that Green Goblin is going to be the main antagonist is because his equipment or his experiment is being tampered with by Spider-Man, and I think Green Goblin, in essence, like his true purpose to be Green Goblin is to protect his son. Which is very, it kind of deviates from the comics, where if you read Spider-Man 800 or anything else, like Norman Osborn is a very selfish, narcissistic person who doesn't care about anybody, including his family. And I thought that was really interesting, where we see a Norman Osborn humanized and a very family kind of guy. And I thought that was very interesting.
They still kept those same traits.
Yeah, the narcissistic behavior is still there.
Otto.
Yeah, with Otto, right. And he's selfish and everything.
He's trying to be super progressive with his own business intentions for Osborn and himself, and cure Harry's safety. But you're right. Like, they had that whole other aspect where he actually does care for Harry. He's doing all this for Harry's safety and for his health to be okay.
I think that's what inspires him to take matters into his own hands, where he has purpose. His reasoning behind it are, they're moral, but at the same time, his actions are dangerous and deadly, and the way he's going about it is wrong. So, that's why I think Green Goblin is going to be the major villain, like the final fight. And I think that final fight, I can picture it now. PS5, that fight's going to look beautiful. It's going to rival 2002 Spider-Man Green Goblin fight.
We got a couple things going on here. We got Green Goblin and Venom, most likely the main villains.
Like before Green Goblin.
Primary, and then Venom side character, but they're like Doc Ock, Martin Lee, those are the main character / villains of the first game. Venom or Green Goblin and Venom, same situation. Sequel, we got Yuri Watanabe as the Wraith.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Villain, which is going to be super dope to fight her.
Yeah.
And possibly Black Suit gameplay, which of course we need that. And
in HD,
Miles Morales
4K
with possible co-op.
Possible co-op and interchanging stories.
Co-op.
Yeah.
Because Brian, not like Avengers, where they're clearly kind of going about it the wrong way, but a single player centered game with no online looter shooter stuff, but a co-op element. 2-player co-op plays Peter Parker Spider-Man and Miles Morales Spider-Man. Tag team co-op.
Kind of like an Arkham Knight when you switch between Batman and Catwoman, and you take over. That was fun. That was great. Do that. Arkham Knight. That part at least. But hashtag.
So they could do that either fully single player,
yeah,
or they could do it a co-op way where you could team up as Miles and Peter together.
Exactly. Hashtag single player lives on. So hashtag single player is still around. Hashtag single player is awesome. But yeah, definitely, I could see a co-op, but like where the other Spider-Man becomes like not an NPC, but like its own thing, fighting off in the distance, and you can switch back. But definitely, and I want to be able to see Miles Morales involved in the story. And I'm gonna call it right now that the final post-credit scene of Spider-Man 2 PS5 will be Eddie Brock in a cell, and then Carnage is introduced, or at least Cletus cast. Because, they already apprehended Eddie Brock. He's in jail. A piece of the symbiote suit gets onto Cletus, and then, bam, cut. I'm calling that. That's what I'm going to think.
Bro, I swear I'm going to look on Insomniac's link page right now and make sure you don't work.
People are starting to think I work for him because, look, people are saying, like, yo, this dude works for him. Oh, my God, look at all these comments. Let's see. They might follow that story, Ronnie. I like it. That would be a masterpiece game created by me. Lol. Yeah, what I really want to see in the sequel is that if they take it this way, when Harry wakes up, he is so scared so that when Peter and Miles come in and has to go find Harry and help. That was from Matthew Hall Fitzsimmons. They gowned out, but Venom takes over and Harry makes Harry fight Peter and Miles. It won't be Venom. It'll probably be a manifestation of like a different symbiote spawn, because the symbiote gets inspired to hate Spider-Man because of Spider-Man's rejection, I think.
Right.
But they might go with like the route where like this entity is like a healing factor, like it heals diseases.
The comics or something similar to that, but yeah, it's very. There's so much potential, and I would be fine with either way, just as long as they stay true to the core of what makes the symbiote so encapsulating Peter, Venom as a character. Because in the Ultimate Universe, for example, whoever gets the symbiote in general becomes Venom, meaning they turn into that the
monster.
Peter literally turned into Venom.
Yeah.
So that was a different take on it. But in the original comics, Eddie Brock is the only person who mainly becomes Venom due to the hatred of Spider-Man. Then later on, of course,
it was all because of an influence.
Venom. We got Agent Venom. We got all these different versions of Venom, anti-Venom. So there's all these different versions of Venom. But if they, this is the first time in this universe that Peter ever fought Doc Ock. So in the years being Spider-Man, he never fought Doc Ock. Same thing. He's never fought a Green Goblin or a Venom before.
Right, so exactly. These are going to be like the challenging foes, basically.
Yeah.
He's never had kind of a challenging foe.
Connect to the relationship with Spider-Man, but the personal aspects of Peter's life, he kind of is aware of how shady Norman is, but he still kind of respects him in a way.
Yeah.
But then also he understands how he felt the same way about Doc Ock, but then, of course, now Otto Rav, because of what happened first, now he might be a bit more weary for the wear about what's happening now and what's happening with the Devil's Breath, Norman, and all this stuff. And Harry, if he finds out that Harry's sick this whole time, right in front of his face, he's not in Europe, which was the biggest lie. I love it. I'm sorry, I gotta go on a tangent. That's been promoted since day one. Harry's in Europe running things for Oscorp. So I
was suspicious of that midway.
Research stations added on to the narrative of Harry's involvement in the story. Great. I never thought of a second thing. That makes sense. Norman's in the game as a supporting character. That's great. Freaking, I wanted to flip my table so hard at the end of the game. Like, freaking Harry's been here the whole time.
Yeah, and Mary Jane was in that room.
What's happened? Like, I was like running out of air when I saw this.
Mary Jane was in that lab too. That was the funny part. Like, one more look.
And I didn't interact with that thing the first time. I didn't interact with that tank. I looked at everything else, but I went in the wrong order. So I interacted with people, and then Silver Sable came in, so I couldn't interact with that tank. Whatever it was when I saw it first, like, what is this thing? I didn't look at it, and then it went back to it in the post-credit scene, like, I'm gonna find out what this is. Oh, and then Green appeared, like, it's probably Green Goblin's equipment, and then it was Harry with the black. Like, what the fuck? This is the craziest thing. Like, I was so flipped out when that happened. You have no idea. I was like, this is, and Brian told me to my face when I interviewed him, like, oh yeah, Harry's in Europe doing stuff. Like, okay, great. I can't wait to see how that turns out. I never gave it a second thought. He's been here the whole time, so I'm not gonna take anything face value when the sequel starts happening.
Exactly. Don't believe what
stuff.
they tell you, man. Like
Yeah.
I'm just going with my gut, my instinct. I really hope. Obviously, I like kind of like how Spidey Skater Boy mentions, how the story is not exactly going to play out the way I state. Obviously, I just hope in some form, shape, or way, like part of my theory is applied. Like even if it's a small amount. I would be happy. I would like cheer on. Regardless, I'm very excited for this game.
It sounds amazing. No, I love where your theory's going. If they
Thank
get
you,
close
thank
to
you.
that,
Yeah.
I think it will be great. But of course, like they have the probably people involved in the story, like John Paquette, Ben Arf, who are the main leaders at Insomniac.
Yeah.
There's another writer now there, Mary Penny,
Yeah.
I believe, at Insomniac, and they had another one, Matt, but she left Insomniac now, so I'm not sure if she'll be stayed on. But they have their own writing team at Insomniac, and then it was co-written by Christos Gage at Marvel.
Yeah.
And then slight, I know Josh knows a lot about this, but it's just slight inputs by Dan Slott, not like a whole lot.
Are you serious? I met
Yeah,
Dan. By the way, I met Dan Slott at SuperCon last year.
Oh, cool.
He's a really cool guy. I have I
Really?
don't have any. I have a picture of me and Dan. But yeah, he's a really cool guy. He's kind of like he's my height though, and I'm actually
I'm
kind
sure
of a.
he's like super nice. It's just,
Yeah,
of
but he's a
course, like,
nice
people
guy.
May
Yeah.
dislike or really like his stories. Like me,
I like him. I don't have a problem with
big-
Dan Slott.
I'm not the biggest fan of Superior Spider-Man, but I understand where it was going. I just don't like how still
Yeah.
writers are trying to still resolve the issues that the series brought up with Peter's interaction. But I did like the reason why they got Dan Slott from wondering, and I know Josh too, for Mr. Negative.
Yeah.
Like, because that's his character, so they got input. How would you visualize him, as a character, and what makes Mr. Negative unique in the first place? Let's get your input. But it was their own take on the character. It was Insomniac's.
Mr.
Really
Negative
Insomniac
actually got a
Spider-Man.
lot
When
of.
they say,
Yeah.
Oh, Marvel Spider-Man is our best. It's really Insomniac Spider-Man.
I really like
but
the way
that's-
Mr. Negative influenced a lot of people, like the characters around the game, and I like how he got a lot of screen time, and he was a huge part of the game.
Yes.
He's actually one of the greatest, like, most recent created villains in comics. I think he's really
awesome.
cool. He's very interesting. I like his powers and abilities, but I loved it.
And Stephen O'Young plays him was phenomenal.
Yeah, he's great, and they couldn't cast a better person for that. There's this other one. The meme guy actually mentioned this. If you go to my video where I talk about the speculation of Spider-Man 2 theories, the meme guy actually posted a very, very lengthy theory. If you have the time, if you check it out, read it.
Sure, yeah, I saw your video before, but yeah, I didn't get to read the comments.
Yeah, the meme guy posted a very lengthy theory. I read it. It was pretty interesting. I disagree with the second theory where like Peter Parker and Mary Jane split up again, and I hate that. I don't want that to happen because those couples are
the whole
yeah.
build up first game to get them back together.
That's couples goal right there. They should not break up. Let's see what else. Brendan, this game will be monumental. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I hope we do get a.
My opinion.
Josh, thank you for supporting by saying that you do hope that we get a story akin to my theory. Honestly, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Your theory sounds really good. I really like how you're
thank
structuring
you.
all.
Yeah. Thank you. And Mean Guy wants to share his theory of Venom, even though it's a huge 5196 characters. I don't think we have enough time to read that because we still got to move on to other topics.
Right, we got other subjects, but just know that we love all your guys' enthusiasm. We totally appreciate all your support.
Send your theories to our social media too, so we can read them in our own time.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be more than happy to respond or even like and share.
And mark my words, if Spider-Man 2 does not get Game of the Year whenever it comes out, 2021 or 2022, I will throw a riot.
I'm thinking a release date of 2021 holiday or even September 2021. But that may be too soon. 2022 the latest.
Now because of this coronavirus.
2022 the latest, I think.
Stuff, I think. And it would also go well because that's Spider-Man 2 releases. So, like 2018 was Year of the Spider with Spider-Man PS4. Infinity War, Venom, Into the Spider-Verse. I think the same thing could happen in 2022 with Spider-Man PS5 and Spider 2 and probably some other Spider-Man thing down the line.
Yeah. Teaser trailer late this year. I want to see that.
Yeah.
Hey, and then it says here, Matthew, what I want to see is also that Miles messes up. He didn't listen to Peter Parker, and Peter gets mad at Miles and teaches him how to be a better, and that's what Peter says, how to be a better Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. He already passes on that message to Miles. So I think I like that. Yeah, preach. Yeah. Let's talk about the lack of interesting games in 2020. We'll get to that in a moment, Lejeune. I really want to talk about that too. But we got to move on to like the next topic, like which is like the Spider-Man MCU ordeal and the movies. I think we've tackled a lot on the Spider-Man sequel speculation. So let's talk a little bit more Spider-Man. This would probably be your least favorite. Now we're heading back into a depression. Like, this stream is a roller coaster, by the way, because we had our downs with Avengers. God, that was so negative. Now that I think about it, then we're talking about Spider-Man to lift our spirits in the game.
Anything to get hyped over. Like,
exactly.
The discussion, the theory situation for Spider-Man sequel has got me more excited than everything that we've seen for.
And we haven't seen anything about Spider-Man 2. We have not seen a damn thing, and that's how excited we are.
See, zero hasn't been confirmed to be made, but we all know it's happening.
Oh, Josh is leaving the stream. All right, Josh, thank you. He says he got to hop off. Josh. Hope to join the stream in the future. Hey, I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you being a new subscriber. Thank you so much, Josh. Glad to have you, buddy.
Is the best. I'll talk to you later, bro.
Yeah, so let's talk about Spider-Man Far From Home and MCU and what the third film could be like. Hashtag the hand.
Yay! Okay, so
all right, I'll let you do your rant.
Now, what I've heard, because I have not, like you haven't, I haven't kept up with the Spider-Man movie because I could care less about it. So
no, you didn't miss Venom 2.
Raven is rumored.
Ugh, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And of course now Morbius might tie into the movie because now it was teased at the trailer that it was in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
So, yay, I guess. I don't know. Like, I mean, you guys know me. Far From Home was not my most favorite Spider-Man movie.
They want to do a Sinister Six, ultimately. And you know, Spider-Man 4 has been confirmed.
Right. I know. Like, oh no, man. Like, what are they doing? Because
What are they doing?
That was the plan for the Amazing Spider-Man movies, to get the Sinister Six spin-off happening or whatever, the films or whatever. And then we're doing it again for Homecoming with Michael Keaton, Vulture, what's his name? Whoever's playing Scorpion.
I don't like
There's
who.
So much like going on. Like I don't know how to iterate my interest. It's like, well, Far From Home was clearly a step backwards from Homecoming. After watching Far From Home, I like Homecoming more. That shouldn't happen, but it did, and I find myself very conflicted with the future of the series. Like, Tom Holland's a great actor. I think he's fine. He just needs
a good material. He's a good Spider-Man.
He's fine.
Yeah.
But he just needs to be more independent and grow, and we haven't seen that. So it's very hard for me to get interested within this version of the character. If you're interested, that's awesome. That's just me telling you how I feel, for anyone who's upset with my disinterest for the character for the MCU. But
yeah, I saw your review again, and damn, dude, the like to dislike ratio is there, but you turned off the comments, so I understand.
I still haven't taken it down.
Just leave it there. Just say, hey, listen, my opinion. Shut up.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, like, I understand your point. I get it. I'm not gonna hate you for it, obviously. I get it. I mean, I can probably disagree just a little bit, but I only liked it. That's it. Yeah. I mean, I got the movie right there. It's fine.
Nice.
I just hope the third one's better because.
Did you like it more than Homecoming or less?
Less than Homecoming.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Homecoming because I thought it was a solid story. Yeah. And I don't like the fact that Spider-Man has to build his suit in a jet. Why? He sews the thing.
He sews it, but he's going to be independent from Tony Stark.
He's going to be the next Tony Stark.
But then he uses Stark Tech again to make his new suit, which is supposed to be different from the other one that he already
You know what?
have.
You know what this is? This is Sony's
Okay.
getting their crummy hands in it because Sony is capitalizing and banking on the fact that they can mention other Avengers like Iron Man because he's popular and he started all this crap.
And granted, that's what makes this so different because, of course it does. Like what people wanted, like Civil War, was awesome. Spider-Man was introduced in the MCU for the first time. His portrayal in that movie was excellent.
It's Far From Home is about Peter being a whiny little boy wanting his little girlfriend over saving the world, entire dang world, says Brandon. You know what? There's okay. Hold on. Before I continue, there's this one guy who likes to troll me purposely, but he's doing it because he's being funny.
Right.
But I don't read his names because I fell for it twice. I'm not gonna fall for it the third time. And oh my god. Okay, forget it. I'm not reading this guy's name. It begins with a T and ends with a D.
Okay.
You'll see him right there. I'm not falling for that again, Mr. Ice Swallow. That's what he was the first time. And he was something else the second time, and now he's something else the third time.
Oh boy. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm not falling for that again. He just comes in here, likes to troll me once in a while. He's funny.
I get the same way. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like what? Like we're gonna have Craven now? So what? Mysterio?
How
is
Craven?
How is Craven going to connect to Tony Stark in this movie?
Joe Manganiello wants to play Craven.
To come back to Iron Man.
Yeah.
Everything Peter does one way has to revolve around.
I don't want that to happen anymore.
You can exist in the same world as Iron Man,
but don't mention
don't have everything that Peter's world consists of revolve around Iron Man.
If you notice in Spider-Man Homecoming,
his villains, the origin of his villains, the purpose of how the villain is becoming the villain in the first place
was due to Iron Man.
Peter's trying to become an Avenger to impress or be with Iron Man. Then he understood it at Homecoming. He doesn't have to be an Avenger. But then that's immediately taken away where he does get the Infinity War Avengers and fights alongside the Avengers. And then he tries to honor Tony Stark's death by being the next Iron Man, trying to, fill in the footsteps of another hero when he shouldn't have to.
The one thing that
at the end of the movie,
yeah,
but it doesn't come off that way.
The one thing that really got me, the one thing that got me about those films, like especially the first one, is how these villains came to be. They didn't come to be because of Spider-Man's intervene. They came to be because of what happened to them in the past involving Tony Stark in some capacity, like what do you call it, the Vulture, and damage control and stuff like that. And it was all because of him hating people like Iron Man and the Avengers, like the big leagues, And then all of a sudden, barf for Mysterio, he hated Iron Man for that, and he became the way he is because of him, not because of Spider-Man's intervening or anything like that. It's just the villains, the rogues galleries of Spider-Man are created because of Spider-Man, and Spider-Man gets involved, and he fights them off, and they become Spider-Man becomes a nuisance essentially to these villains, not because of Tony Stark or some history that you had that doesn't involve Spider-Man. I mean, you can argue that it's an interesting or different take, but honestly, that's not how I see the villains. In the Sam Raimi films, the villains are who they are because, a Spider-Man or some accident or whatever, and then they get annoyed because of Spider-Man, not because of anybody else in the past, So that's one thing I didn't like that. So, I mean, but overall, it's a good time. I mean, it's enjoyable. I like the films, but I think I would have taken it to a different direction.
And people say, like, if it doesn't have any of the true, assets of the Spider-Man movie, at least it was funny. Like, I never thought any of it was funny. I didn't laugh once when I was watching with my dad in theaters on opening night. And I was sitting there like, what is going on? It just sounds
Your
like...
Your dad didn't like it.
No, he did not.
He thought everything was bad.
He probably dislikes it more than me, and that's saying a lot.
It was a lengthy review, and but you had a lot to say, you guys.
Yes.
You guys were really disappointed.
We did have a lot of feelings that night about what we witnessed, but it was just a very odd setting for a Spider-Man movie, like a field trip, happy-go-lucky Spider-Man movie with moments of tension that didn't dwell into anything even more serious compared to I'm mad at Tony Stark, who's dead already. So now I'm going to ask, okay, Mysterio, and I love Jake Gyllenhaal, That was one of the most things I was most
They're great
excited
actors, yeah, all of them.
He's an amazing actor. Villain cast is phenomenal for these movies. Michael Keaton as Vulture, perfect choice. Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, I was looking forward to it. Make them as subpar Tony Stark villains? Why would you do that at all?
You know, aside from like the negatives, and despite you despite you disliking this movie, what if you had to pick your favorite moments or your favorite parts of this movie? What would it be?
Holy crabgrass and a lot of that. Probably.
Did you say holy crabgrass?
It's a sellout answer.
Yeah.
Probably the Mysterio illusion sequence.
I like
That's
that.
the only time where Spider-Man is actually fighting Mysterio, and not the final battle, if you could call it that, in the bridge where he's just dodging the drone, and then he just punches him once.
Says that Mysterio's not
and he
enhanced.
shoots himself by accident.
Yeah.
So.
Holy crabgrass. That was great. Hashtag grab crabgrass. All right, Brandon.
Holy crabgrass. Hashtag holy.
That was funny.
No, like they did what I wanted to see more of is the illusion aspect of Mysterio, and they only got to that during midway point of the movie.
I was hoping he would be an actor.
Me too. I thought he was gonna be pulling some stunt to mess
But
with
it'd be
Spider-Man,
like
but instead
it's
he's
similar.
Like, oh,
it's similar in the
I'm an
path.
illusionist.
Yeah.
I focus on illusion
Drones.
tech. Yeah, drones. Okay, sure.
Illusion tech. Sure.
And I'm going to then surpass Tony, who's dead, as a better hero than Spider-Man ever would be. And then all of a sudden, Jake becomes Mysterio Stan at the end of the movie, and suddenly disses on Peter. And then the whole Edith thing as the center. Would you ever think that glasses would be a center focal point for the narrative plot to drive forward for a Spider-Man movie? I sure as hell didn't. Not me.
You know what's weird? The weirdest part of that film was that exposition scene in the bar.
I hate that movie.
That was the weirdest. I thought it was weird. It was funny. I thought it was funny and weird. But I was like, that's a lot of exposition. Do you think we're stupid?
How lazy of a writer can you be?
Wait, I quote Deadpool. That's just lazy writing.
For doing this, and side character B for making my costume. Side character C for helping make the clouds morph into my drone tech.
And thank you to Susan.
And then they got the freaking guy from Iron Man 1 in the box straps back as Mysterio.
Who remembered that guy? Who remembered that guy?
Went back as Mysterio. They're all Mysterio. So his name really even back? Like I don't know. Like.
It's Quentin Beck from Earth 616, straight out of 616. From Earth, no, I'm sorry, from Earth 833 or whatever the hell it was.
Earth, terrible.
Hashtag.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Man.
All right, let's bring up the hopes and the hypes. Let's talk about Venom 2.
Yeah, what's next on the list?
Venom 2. Let's do that.
Woody Harrelson in a Hawaiian shirt.
I love it. I'm sold. I'm done. Like, thank God they got rid of that mop head broom that he had, like that mop head thing that he had.
I thought that was just there on purpose because he's in prison. You know, he's a serial killer in a prison. He's just not the most hygienic guy. So of course they try to be cliche with the crazy sideshow Bob red wig. But of course, if he gets out of prison, we're gonna probably see him cut that thing off.
It's actually similar to what it looks like in the comics. I saw that.
Like the '90s show, even crazy kind of out there hair.
But that red was faker than like.
Oh yeah.
Like freaking fake grass on the lawn or whatever.
Red, like,
that was bad. That was horrible. I'm like, what is this?
We got actual Cletus Cassidy by Woody Harrelson in a Hawaiian shirt and a skull necklace.
He plays a good villain, and I hope the sequel's are rated R, because Woody Harrelson has been in the intense.
If you're gonna put Carnage in a Venom movie, you gotta make it rated R, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I just don't know how Spider-Man will play out in like.
I don't know either, and if it's connected to it, I don't know. But Andy Serkis directing.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a great choice, and the fact that they're going to embrace more of the darker themes of Venom as a whole is great. Is a great sign. So I'm very happy because I liked the first one. It was not what I want. I didn't want that Venom movie because I wanted a R-rated, hardcore, dark Venom movie that was a character study essentially, like the Joker movie was, which was, surprise, an Oscar-winning movie, or at least best performance Oscar movie from Joaquin Phoenix. And I wanted that same type of film for Venom because it could work really well, especially with how dark the character can be. Mainly if you read the Ultimate Comics version of Venom, or even what they took off was the Lethal Protector storyline. But if you read the main core comics of Venom, you see how much of a complex character Eddie Brock is. And that's what appeals him to me the most.
Yeah.
And the first movie was a fun, light-hearted type of film, which was odd to say about a character like Venom. It was entertaining, but I didn't want that movie. I want a different type of. And now that it seems like we're getting that with the sequel, makes me very interested to see how it could turn out.
Yeah, definitely. I'm surprised that they're bringing it out this fast because only the first one came out in like 2018 of October. And we're already shortly getting the sequel, and I wonder if the third film will come out even soon, like maybe perhaps 2022. But yeah, I'm
Wait, Venom 2?
Venom 3.
Oh, Venom 3, because I was gonna say Venom 2 comes out this.
I know October. I'm saying like I'm surprised how fast because like we're already in 20.
On.
Right. I'm thinking like they're dishing out this movie quickly. I think
if they do that again,
yeah.
Year of the Spider 2 coming in 2022, Venom 3, Into the Spider-Verse 2, Spider-Man PS5,
and a supposedly untitled Spider-Man film, untitled Spider-Man movie from Sony. I think a live-action Spider-Verse.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, Venom always has been a goofy character. Yeah, he has. There's a lot of comedy in his solo comics, especially Venom. What's the name of his solo comic again? Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. Must be because I'm.
Protector?
There you go. There's a lot of comedy implemented in those, and I have that series, and it's amazing. I love it. I liked it, but he really went through a path of redemption by agreeing to stay away from Spider-Man, and Spider-Man came to California. I would love to see a story like that. It sucks that we didn't get to see a lot of Spider-Man swinging in New York in the movies. I'm like, why is he going to Europe? Leave him in New York. I want to see him swinging.
Yes. But no, we get gliding, though, Ronnie. He glides.
Oh, yes, that's right. We do.
Wow. Exciting.
I'm actually slowly hating the movie. Why? And if you watch my review, it's actually positive with like criticisms. But yes, gliding. Let's talk. Oh my god.
Oh, yes. What Spider-Man's known for? Question mark. Like
he's never done that in the comics. But then again, this movie's directed by a guy who doesn't read the comics. That was there. It's clearly stated that was just for design in the comics.
Choice.
It's just it's like, oh yeah, here we go. You know, it just looks like that. That's it.
In the '90s show, bam, or the Spider-Man Unlimited, bam, did that web cape. Boom, you never see Spider-Man gliding with his web cape or the armpits in the comic. No, because that's not what he does. No, too much. And sidebar, if they make that a feature in the sequel for Spider-Man PS5, I just hope that's optional. Because I want to swing, wall run.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see gliding Spider-Man anytime soon because he's only made to swing. So,
please.
Damn. I hope it's just not. Just don't even include it. Just leave it alone. That's why there's the low gravity feature in Spider-Man PS4. It's practically gliding, but like you're falling slowly for a short period of time. So I like that. That's a good option. You think Carnage is based on more of a Carnage USA with a Hawaiian shirt and more of a laid back and not giving a shit attitude kind of Carnage? Meme guy said. So yeah, I haven't read Carnage USA. I read a little bit of Absolute Carnage, and obviously the new Venom stuff by Donny Cates, which I really love. I thought Venom was well balanced and had a little of everything, but the thing is that I think Venom, in my opinion, is more complete with Spider-Man involved. That's my take. I just like without Spider-Man, Venom is not Venom. He's Venom for a reason. He's a poison to Spider-Man. He's made to torture him.
It's more compelling with the anger that fuels Eddie and the symbiote together.
The thing is that Sony wants to capitalize on Spider-Man property. Yeah. And they really wanted to rush out Venom. They really want to capitalize on the fandom of Spider-Man, not really care about the story. That's why I disagree with Venom coming out as a film alone without Spider-Man. I hated that. This hand is going crazy. The hand is going crazy? What hand is going crazy, Brandon? Hell, Venom's first ever line was a Mr. Rogers quote. Yeah, I think it was. I think so. I don't remember the quote. In the movie? I don't know.
No, probably in the comics. But yeah, I understand what you mean. And yeah, like he's a interesting. He's a fun character, but you can go much deeper with him instead of just like, oh, I'm a happy-go-lucky alien monster.
Like establish a storyline with Spider-Man, a strong one, and then throw him off in his own movies where he goes to California and whatever.
just like understand that there's so much more that you can do with him on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Instead of just making him comic relief.
Do
Which
you
is what
think...
they did with the symbiote. Like, oh, Eddie, I'm a loser like you on my planet, so we're perfect for each other. Like, okay, funny, I guess, but I want something more intimate or more, not that, oh, my planet thinks I'm a loser. No, like, oh, I'm an alien creature from another universe. We are one. We are Venom, I wanted that analyzed further, but we didn't. So
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
hoping the sequel goes into that further. And what are your thoughts on Max Carnage? Because I think it's fine. Like
The storyline, the classic one? Yeah.
yeah,
I love it. I read it.
if they take elements of that, because I
But
thought I heard
Spider-Man
stuff
plays
about
an integral role in
Shriek.
that story, though.
Yeah, I thought I heard about Shriek being involved in the movie too, or something. I don't know. Maybe that was something else. But yeah, like if they do some elements from Maximum Carnage, just make sure that they can work without Spider-Man. But I don't know how that's possible.
Exactly. Well, I wanted to also mention, do you think MCU will have a Secret Wars Avengers movie? And then
Probably
where Tom
down the
Holland
line,
gets a
yeah.
black suit?
Oh, wow. Well,
The Beyonder.
I feel like they would have a Secret Wars movie, but I don't know if they would go that much. If that makes sense. Like, they wouldn't have, like, of course, the full-on Secret War for comics or the symbiote for Spider-Man, because that would be way too much. But I think, like, an event like that might happen down the line now that they have all these other shows happening on the Disney Plus series.
Yeah.
They could do something like that easily done. Like, oh, here's our next Endgame. Here's our next Infinity War. Secret War, So, see that happen, too. And that's why I'm focusing on the games more, my guy. I mean, like, I want the games to do good, but the Avengers is making me really hard to be excited, and Spider-Man PS5 is just inevitable at this point, so I just know that they'll be perfect.
Exactly. The meme guy says that Venom is the visual antithesis of Spider-Man, but Venom can be done in great as a standalone character in specific circumstances. Agent Venom had great storylines and would fit better. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Agent Venom would fit a lot better as a solo flick. I think it can have a perfect trilogy, if anything. Agent Venom is actually one of the coolest recent characters of all time in Marvel. But yeah, that's pretty much my take on Venom 2. And I mean, I'm pretty excited for it because Andy Serkis is behind the project. And we seem to be getting Carnage for the first time on live action, so I can't wait to see how that turns out to be. And I hope it is rated R for the better because of Carnage. So yeah, let's move on to the Batman.
Yes. I'm hyped.
I'm pretty neutral but hyped, sort of. Because that costume really...
It's weird. We haven't had a solo Batman movie since The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, and that costume is a little weird, but I understand the inspiration, so I'm kind of neutral about it, actually.
I'll be frank, I hate the logo. I hate the ears. The rest of it kind of looks cool. Why
do you hate the logo? It's the guns that killed his parents.
Because that was like one of his original symbols in the comics with no ears. I just hate stuff like that though because it looks unfinished. And it probably is the case. I mean, probably by the end of the movie, he might have a fully polished suit that is the actual Batman suit. This might be his beginning suit or whatever.
Yeah.
But I do not like how those ears look. They look like they're just like rubber and.
They look a little goofy, right? A little silly.
Part of the cowl. Yeah, like they don't look like actual bat ears. They look like kind of like little stems. And I don't know. And I do like the theory or whatever, the addition of the logo is made out of the gun that parents. That's pretty hype, metaphorical and all that.
Actually, I think Reeves confirmed it, by the way.
Oh, that's dope. And the darts on his arm, whatever, those are supposed to be like shuriken darts. So instead of batarangs,
they look like arrows.
Yeah.
Or like little darts. Yeah.
Interesting. And then I guess the goggles on his are stunt suit.
What if the goggles? What if the goggles are a placeholder for the white eyes? Because I think they might do that.
That'd be interesting, but they tried that. The Dark Knight. Actually,
it was a reference. The Dark Knight. Yeah, it was just a reference for Sonar.
The joke where he had the detective mode kind of thing, and
it looked weird.
Cool, but it was interesting. And then do you watch the show The Umbrella Academy?
Yeah, I did. I did.
They have that
Yeah, the white
eye.
eye, the domino mask with the white eyes. Yep.
Yeah,
It looks pretty cool there.
it was interesting for that show, but if
Yeah.
I'm picturing it on a Batman suit, I don't know if it would work. But it's interesting, but I'm not, and I need to see it, of course, in its entirety with the cape in motion, how that all looks. But
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be as good so far. I also am not a fan of Batfleck suit because I hate how fat the bat is. And how short the
he
ears are.
looks fat anyways. Like
It's
in
a
the,
fat
it's a fat man. It's a fat man.
It's not a bat suit. It's
Hey,
a fat suit.
is he?
It's clearly a muscle suit for Ben Affleck, but it's just, of course he was buff for that role. But I'm saying like the suit itself kind of added a couple pounds. But
Yeah, it's a beefcake Batman, man. It's a real beefy Batman.
Because it was too gray, and it's a really bad complaint. But it was just like
I like it.
There was not enough to it. Like just the mask, gray whole body suit, and then the black bat logo. It kind of looked a bit off. But my favorite suit so far for Batman in movies is probably the Dark Knight suit.
I like the Batman Begins suit because
like
it looks nice. Batman Begins
layered, and even though Christian Bale was much thinner than the other Batman, he still looked interesting in the costume because it just looked really cool. Like same thing for me. Like out of my favorite Spider-Man live action costumes, my favorite would probably be like Spider-Man 2 suit, just classic the Toby suit. I also really like TASM 1 suit though because of how unique.
What? That thing looks like a basketball.
I know a lot of.
It looks terrible.
But I actually kind of low key dig it.
I hate it. I hate it.
Looks dope with the shoes and the lenses and the cool web patterning on it. Looks like. But
Izzy disagrees, by the way.
Yeah, at least there's no nipple.
Nips, bat nips.
Bat nips is a gadget.
Oh my god.
The Batman logo is made of this rectified.
Look, Izzy said something funny. He goes, "The new Batman suit is ass. The ears and collar are a huge mistake. I don't mind the symbol, and the armored look is kind of cool. Wish we had Batfleck though. I like Batman's Affleck. I like the Batfleck suit, kind of because it's very reminiscent to the Dark Knight the Dark Knight Returns in the comics.
Yeah,
I liked it. It's actually one of the most comic book accurate Batman suits we'll ever get. But the new one's very reminiscent of like Arkham Knight and the Long Halloween and some other stories.
And it's so weird. It's so weird that my favorite costumes for these heroes are from the video games. Again,
oh yeah, exactly.
The advanced suit is my favorite Spider-Man suit of all time, and the Batman Arkham Knight is my favorite Batman.
Yeah, I just love the armor thing.
And I do love what they did. Like, exactly. It does have the Robert Pattinson Batman suit does have an Arkham Violet, kind of like shoulder pads on it.
And the
kind of
abdomen.
With the dividers in the chest.
Yeah.
And the armor look it has. I get what they're going for. And this is also, I think, a period piece. Like, it takes place in a 1900s Gotham, not a modern day Gotham. It's like an older Gotham.
Actually, it takes place in the 90s, I think. The Batman movie that we're getting.
Okay, so that's again. So they don't have the modern tech of a standard Batman suit would. So if they're trying to, fill that in for the void of the time restraint that the movie is facing, I get it. Maybe they could have just gone about it a different way. And out of everything though, I really don't like that front thing on the top. It looks like a kid's toy. I'm sorry, but the front face on the bike itself just looks so oddly made. Put on.
But it's like it's a really comic accurate because like a lot of the motorcycles look like that from Batman comics.
Right. I don't know. I just don't dig the Bat bike personally, but it's interesting, or at least I have to see it in motion, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, damn. I just
it's
don't
hard.
know,
It's
man.
tough.
I don't know, man.
Struggle.
Quick question. This is a little bit
But
deviating.
I guess in regard to the actor, Robert Pattinson will do a job. I wasn't hyped for
We haven't seen him in the suit as often. We only saw him in that camera test footage.
Yeah, so it's like we need to see how it will fully work in its entirety. But yeah, as of right, I think he'll do a pretty good job. I mean, he sounds like he's on board, fully invested with the project, how that's going to turn out. So it'll just be interesting to see how it goes. Favor.
Oh, real quick. They want what's his name? Meme guy says, "Sorry to deviate, but who would you like to see play Moon Knight in the MCU?" I actually have an idea of who I'd like to see, but I was wondering if you know.
Play who?
Moon Knight. What actor would you like to see play Moon Knight?
Kit Harington was chosen for the other night, right?
I think I don't know. I think so.
He was chosen for like that Black Knight, right, or whoever it was, some for another show. I don't know, but
I think yeah.
that would have been an interesting choice. I heard that name kind of flying around there a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be someone who can go like to a dark route, like
Here, you know who I'd like to see?
a mature tone.
I think the guy that can pull it. I mean, what would you like to see first, and I'll tell you in a second who I like to see. Yeah.
Tough. Man, because I'm trying to look at actors right now to see who could be best fitted for a character like.
I have one in mind while you look one up.
Because Charlie Cox was fantastic in Daredevil. That's perfect casting in my opinion. So, for like, who could be Moon Knight?
Keanu Reeves is too old. Meme guy.
Yeah, that's an interesting pick. No.
You know what I like to see, and I think you'll probably agree with this. Have you ever seen the show Heroes?
Don't think so.
Okay, Zachary Quinto, you know who that is? I think he could play Moon Knight
That's
perfectly.
Spock, right?
That's Spock, yeah. He played the villain in Heroes.
I'm sorry, I'm more on the...
Yeah, but he played one of the villain in Heroes. If you look at some clips of Heroes, Zachary Quinto can go to a dark place. I think he would be a great Moon Knight.
I could see that.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting choice. Damn. I don't know. Like, who could be a good and I was thinking Miles Teller, but then he was Mr. Fantastic, but I don't think he could pull off
we don't need Miles Teller.
Because if you saw Whiplash, I thought he was awesome. Whiplash, but man, I don't really know who could be. Oh, is that who played Dredd though? Gerard Butler.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting take, but I think he's a little older at this point.
Butler Dredd.
No,
that's Carl.
Carl Urban could be a great Moon Knight. Yeah. He's brutal, but he's in The Boys right now. He's busy with The Boys.
Right.
I love that show. The Boys is great.
The Boys is act.
It's fantastic.
Even who plays Homelander maybe could be Moon Knight if he wasn't doing that. But yeah, I don't know. Like
Homelander is one of the best villains I've ever seen on TV.
Oh, and that's right. Carl Urban was already Scourge in Thor Ragnarok.
He was pretty funny as Scourge.
He was funny. My dad loves that movie. Funny enough.
I give to all right, everybody. Let me really show you my stuff.
Go for it. Yes. Yes.
My stuff.
Just the shake weight. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, man, that was a great movie. I loved it. I had a great time. Thank God the third one was great. Are you excited for the fourth one?
I'm interested to see what happens because if they bring back Natalie Portman, that'll be serious Thor.
Yeah, it says John Krasinski can play as Moon Knight, but I don't know.
Could get more recognition Thor rather than Jane Foster.
Yeah, Natalie Portman. The thing is that what's weird. At first, she was against doing another Thor movie because Patty Jenkins, who directed Wonder Woman, got fired at the last minute on Thor: The Dark World, and Natalie Portman raised hell, man. She raised her concerns in her voice, but she was already signed, and she had to do the movie, and she was upset.
I could see why, but I think and Thor: The Dark World is all right.
Nah.
It's not the best thing ever, but
it's the weakest out of all of them, I think.
Totally, in my opinion, Thor Ragnarok. But I know some people just like the one the most, but I think Ragnarok hilarious, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Like I never say, "Oh, this Marvel movie's fun, great, action." Like I say about all of them, I generally feel that way about Thor Ragnarok. Literally funny throughout the whole film.
Yeah, it was really good. I loved it. But it's so funny. It's a funny shift of tone, though, from the first one to the second one, and then the third one's like a comedic, buddy cop kind of movie. It's so weird.
At all, but
at all, yeah.
The third one presents itself. But if I had to choose my favorite MCU movie, period, probably either Iron Man 1, Civil War, or
I like Infinity War, Civil War, and the first Iron Man.
I really like surprisingly.
Ant-Man was fun. It was great. I loved it.
The first Ant-Man, the second one was okay.
But Evan, I gotta tell you this. You know which movie is the best MCU movie without a doubt ever? Do you want to know what I think is the best movie?
I think
Spider-Man Far From Home. Spider-Man Far From Home is amazing. Hey, screw you. Forget it. Fuck you. Spider-Man Far From Home is amazing.
Whoa. Roof bombs in the stream. Oh, wow.
Oh my god. I just want to land it on you. Spider-Man Far From Home is the best movie ever.
Not expecting. God. Can't be topped.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Can't be topped. Spider-Man Far From Home is a masterpiece.
People say like as a joke, like, "Oh, Spider-Man PS."
Spider-Man Far From Home is a masterpiece.
Masterpiece of a cinema film.
Oh
yes.
yeah, best scene ever, without a doubt. The best. Do you remember that on Twitter? That was the funniest thing ever. This is what the best scene, memorable scene ever. I'm like, but Spider-Man's fight with Green Goblin in 2002.
What?
That
Yeah,
was a better scene. Hello, am I a joke to you?
And everyone's like, "Oh, this can never be topped in the Spider-Man film with Dodge." You serious right now? Like, okay, like.
And again, I don't want anybody to think that I hate Spider-Man Far From Home. I actually liked it. I liked the movie, but I can understand why people would disagree with it too.
Right.
So.
Oh boy, it was something. I'll give it that. It was certainly something.
Did you see that coming, by the way? The best MCU movie ever.
Really?
Yeah. Did you see that coming? Oh man.
Oh, I see. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They even like on my video. I'm like, oh, there's gonna be a lot of those. I'm like, oh shoot.
Yeah. What do you think? People in the chats. What do you think is the best MCU movie?
I really like Ant-Man. I don't know why I keep focusing on that, but I really do like it.
That's all Paul Rudd. He gives like the charm.
Dude,
I think it's great.
You can't mess with Paul Rudd.
Don't mess with the Rudd.
Don't mess with the Rudd.
Don't mess with that Rudd.
That's amazing.
Don't mess with the Rudd. The P Rudds. The
P-Rudd.
Pruds. Don't mess with the Prud. Yeah. Don't mess with the
Kicking
Prud.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Paul R. PR. He's got good PR.
Yes. Oh.
Well, that man does have actually good PR, so yeah.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah. John Krasinski would be a great Mr. Fantastic. Far From Home, I think, is great, even though.
Oh my god, seeing that, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt.
And his wife, perfect real life couple. Oh man, their chemistry would be amazing. And John Krasinski is actually forward. He's for it. He's actually in video talked about how he wants to be it.
For Captain America, and now he wants to be a part of it again.
He wants to be in the MCU. He wants to be in the MCU.
Yes.
Danny DeVito should be Wolverine.
Yes, bro.
Yes, Danny DeVito can be Wolverine. I mean, he is 4'9". I mean, Wolverine's actually 5'4". So
it's like that one scene from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm the trash man. Kick trash and throw it all over the ring.
I actually don't want.
Out and slash people with my adamantium.
I don't watch Sunny. It's Always Sunny, but I do want to see it because I heard it was really funny. And you did a really good Danny DeVito impression right there. Really? Yeah, you did. I'm the trash man.
I'm the trash man. I'm gonna take my trash and throw it all over the ring.
Oh, that was actually pretty good. That was a really good spot on impression. I liked it. That was fun. I was actually watching Seinfeld. I was watching.
Danny DeVito is my idol.
Yeah, he's funny. I actually watched Seinfeld the other day, and I was watching. I love George Costanza because his character's funny. Oh. There's that episode where like he talks about how like his coach forgot his name and he kept mispronouncing his last name. Can't stand ya. Can't stand ya.
Bro.
Dude, that show has me laughing every time. I love it. Can't stand ya. Can't stand ya. Oh my god. I can just imagine Danny with his claws just slashing at the Hulk. I'm surprised y'all didn't bring up Captain Marvel. Yeah, I'm actually picturing it out. It's pretty funny. I think he'd get slapped away and just like die instantly. Yes. I'll just throw some trash at the Hulk.
Throw trash right into the Avengers.
They'll translate the Avengers. Avengers. That's actually really good. I like it. I'm actually picturing the scene play out in my head. I'm kind of crying a little bit right now.
We need that. We need cinema to happen.
Oh man, that's cinema magic gold. That's gotta happen. Deadpool will be the easiest character to implement in the MCU because of his awareness. Yes, he can say, "Hey, I'm in the MCU now, so I can't be exactly as raunchy as I am in my solo movies. So let's keep PG-13, boys and girls." Shh. Okay, where were we? And they're like, "Who are you talking to, Deadpool?" I'm like, "Oh, nothing. I was just talking to them." And like, okay, anyways, Deadpool, here's the mission.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, and then when he gets back to his own flick, it's rated R. But Deadpool 3 will be under the Marvel Studios umbrella and directed by
I'm
Marvel.
worried about that, honestly.
Yeah.
The first two were so intense, amazing. I hope they can continue with that with the third one.
I'm sorry?
I mean, surely they would know that they would get massive backlash if they were aimed for an audience, right?
But Ryan Reynolds, according to him, he says it's going to be awesome because they're not interfering with that because it is very much Fox property, but still Disney. Disney's letting them
they have to
take
still
liberties.
Keep in the same mantra.
Yeah, they're still letting them do whatever they want, and then they do hope to bring them over to the MCU. So that's after probably Doctor Strange and in the Multiverse of Madness. So into the Multiverse of Madness. How much shit would you guys flip if Tobey Maguire became Uncle Ben in the MCU? I think a lot of shit. Okay, so you know what? You want to know how much shit?
A lot of shit would flip.
You know how much shit I would flip? I would get up in the movie theater, look at everybody that's holding food, popcorn, whatever. I'm flipping your shit. I'm flipping your shit. Tobey Maguire's on the screen. I'm flipping your shit. You, kid, take your drink. I'm flipping your drink over, and I'm flipping your kid. And I'm also scoping that ass. I'm scoping that ass right over there. I see your ass.
And you'll know the meaning of pizza time afterwards.
Yeah, pizza time. Yeah, Toby's on the screen, my guy. That's my Spider-Man. Oh, man. I would flip a lot of shit, dude. And then I will flip my shit.
Everyone's shit would be flipped.
All right. I need some shit to flip. Y'all shits are going to be flipped right now. Oh, man. I have this thing called #scope that ass when I play Last of Us. So, because I tend to shoot people in the ass when I play Last of Us. So, yeah. Nice. And then I'm like, and I showed them because I was using a scope and then they die. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm like scoping and I'm hitting their ass. And I'm like, okay, #scope that ass. But yeah, Dead Rip, I love you. Cries and laughter. Scope, Brandon. Toby's my Spider-Man. And then you guys would say that is the best film in the MCU just because of Toby. But I would agree. Yes, the meme guy.
My God.
All right, so we pretty much hit everything. The Batman, Venom 2, Spider-Man, Avengers game. The Avengers we focused a lot on. But yeah, I'm going to have to cut the stream a little short because I do have to work a little early tomorrow.
We've been doing
not short. Actually, we've been doing a couple hours. Never mind. This stream was quite lengthy and it was entertaining. So yeah.
This has been an experience unlike any other.
So, Evan, do you want to add anything before we depart?
I would just say again, thank you for having me, dude. I'm always honored to be featured on your channel as a guest.
Thank you.
You are one of the most passionate people I've ever come across.
Thank you.
Awesome to talk to awesome people like you. Avengers hype?
Yes.
Question mark until we actually get info.
No.
Right now, I'm observing my expectations, but they're kind of very set low because it's not that exciting as of right now. We want to be hyped, but as of right now, but we are still hoping for the best, and we just cross our fingers that whatever's shown next is truly great. Spider-Man 3, hit or miss, whatever. I just hope it's good. Venom 2, I'm hoping it's good. I'm actually looking forward to it. Spider-Man PS5, that'll be here whenever it comes out because it has to be. It's going to be phenomenal. And definitely subscribe to News to Astonish for all your amazing updates on comic book movie news.
Thank you.
Because he definitely provides you with the good as much as he possibly can.
All right, and then as for me, guys, I'm sorry if we didn't hit all the topics, as I'm sure you have more questions, like Black Widow, which I forgot. Sorry, but we wanted to mention a lot of things that are more pressing, like the Avengers game and whatnot. Black Widow, I'm sure will do fine. When will we do a crossover again? I like that idea where like we're doing a crossover. Like I'm from like a different Earth and I'm crossing over with you and your Earth and Evan. I don't know. It really depends when. I mean, I think we should do another crossover when it comes near the release or I guess the announcement of Spider-Man PS5, Spider-Man PS2, Spider-Man 2 PS5. Nice. I think that'd be great. Or upcoming MCU movies or shows on Disney Plus. We can do another crossover eventually. I always love doing these things. I love doing crossovers and collaborating with other YouTubers, no matter what. Evan is very resourceful and he is very smart and he knows a lot about comic book stuff, especially Spider-Man. If you want to know about Spidey stuff, I'm a Spider-Man fan myself, and I can't speak right now. But Evan, the guy's littered with Spider-Man memorabilia and videos. So go to Evan's channel. My viewers, go check out Evan Filarca. Great channel. A lot of content, endless joy. So if you're a fan of Marvel stuff, go check him out. Evan's awesome. So Evan, I want to thank you for being on the show. I had a great time. It's not often that small-time YouTubers like myself get to come across and have big-time YouTubers such as yourself. And I want to say that you're one of the most genuine YouTubers I've met ever. I haven't physically met you, but you're one of the most genuine ones I've ever come across. And it's always great to talk to you, man. I appreciate you joining.
Thank you so much, dude.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I'd love to collaborate whenever you want to.
Definitely.
At your disposal.
Actually, you know what? Since we already did it twice on my channel, I'd like to come on your channel.
Dude, yes. Probably.
If you're interested.
Avengers, it will talk about that. Or right when they show off Spider-Man. Or sequel of greatness on the PS5, that will be our time.
Oh my God, the meme guy had a great idea. Do you know or are you familiar with Ronnie Pugs? On Twitter or on YouTube?
What?
Ronnie Pugs.
Yeah.
Okay. He says do a crossover with Ronnie Pugs. It would be titled Into the Ronverse because I'm also Ronnie. I think we should have a three-way crossover. I mean, right. we should have a crossover with Ronnie Pugs.
Yes.
Yeah, all three of us into the Ronverse with Evan.
Amazing.
Or Evan does a video and he interviews, or he has both Ronnies on the stream.
Every Ronnie is coming.
Subbed, Dead Rip subbed. Yeah, Ronnie 2K. Okay, that's a little extreme. Ronnie 2K subscriber, 2,000 subscribers. No, he has 3,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan of Ronnie's, and I like his videos. Yeah. So yeah, I would have to hit up Ronnie on Twitter. He's cool. He responds to me once in a while. But I'll hit him up and I'll ask him. I'll see if he responds, and then I'll talk to Evan about it. If you guys want to do it. Anyways, you guys are too much by calling it a Ronverse. I'm not. I like to consider myself humble. I don't like to think that the world revolves around me. But thanks anyways. I'm flattered. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it. Be sure to check out Evan's channel. Evan, if you have the time, check out Meme Guys Theory on one of my videos. It's a lengthy one. And also, thank you for joining the stream. Check out Evan's channel. Check out my channel, of course, for your daily dose of new content, games, movies, comics, and more. All right, guys. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. And as always, I will see you all in the next comic panel.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.